On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, the guys are left with a mostly bare cupboard of Star Wars news and rumors. So after talking about a potential convention-exclusive Black Series release, they talk smack about a ridiculous article on the Age of Resistance trilogy. Speaking of Disney's trilogy, the guys opt for a top good and bad moments segment on it thanks to the lack of real-world topics, so it's time to have fun with crapping on other people's opinions. Fear not, the fan segment still takes place with an update on the chosen name for our superfans and the Battle of the Non-Force Users bracket. Of course, the dudes will close with this week's edition of the Top 5 Star Wars Fan Artist Features of the Week. Cue the music. Hey now, everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show. Yes, we're here even though there is hardly anything to talk about. There's nothing. There is a Star Wars news, rumor, whatever you want to call it, black hole going on right now. But we're still here. We're smiling. We're going to do something. Something being the key word. We don't know if it's going to be a show, but we will be doing something. We've got some people in the live chat, and these days we can officially call them their new name as voted by the super fans. I guess we'll save that for later, Nick. I don't want to spoil the segment.
Let's wait until more people filter in, right, but you can already see Rust Belt Collector.
Oh yeah, he knows it. He knows the name. Spencer's greeting us with the old name, the old "Hey assholes." There's Cryo. We'll talk about you, buddy. He's in there. He's ready to yell at us for doing something that we didn't do to make him feel special. Because that's who our super fans are. They're just in here to be stroked. They're ego strokers. They're just not stroking my ego. That's how this show works. Stroke me, not yourselves. All right. So anyways, we're here. As you heard from the announcer, there really is nothing going on. I mean, we're going to talk about a rumor here. StarWars.com just dropped something official that we're going to riff on. We're going to make fun of a stupid-ass site for posting one of the most ridiculous bits of fan fiction in terms of rumors about Disney Star Wars. We're going to do the fan segment. We're going to talk about Nick's life. You never know it. We're going to talk about our new shirts. So let's get into it, man. I want to start with Nick.
Yeah.
This is kind of becoming like our opening segment these days, like checking in with our buddy Nick. And believe it or not, things have actually gotten even more dire for our good friend down in Austin, Texas. He's essentially living with someone that is in self-isolation at this point.
Yeah. I mean, so,
this poor bastard, no job.
I mean, Texas.
His woman's locked up now because of potentially contracting the virus. So, I mean, it just doesn't get better for young Nick.
It is literally a hellscape, but I mean, we're persisting through. So, we're going to have a COVID test on Wednesday. We're going to see what's happening there. And then, as of now, we had plans to kind of go on a mini vacation.
Yeah, you were leaving, right? I mean, you were at least going back to the homeland, or you were going somewhere to spread your COVID outside of Austin. But now was that canceled?
It may be. We're awaiting the results of the test, and then we'll see what happens. But it's definitely still no jobs. And then now we have this whole situation happening here. But I mean, luckily, the person that she was hanging out with already got tested, and they came back negative. So hopefully that's continuation.
If anything, it is a stark reminder that this shit is real. We kind of have our little COVID talk every time we're on the cast here. Unfortunately, I don't think those who need talking to about COVID actually listen to our show, because if they did, they'd hate us because they think we're a bunch of Kool-Aid drinking, science-loving idiots. That's right. We believe in science. Fucking shoot us, right?
But one positive thing that both Matt and I have to talk about is that we were gifted some amazing
Check this
merchandise from our good friend.
Look at my man titties in this thing.
So I'm going to stand up. I'll give you a look at my shirt.
Yeah,
Matt,
yeah. So why Nick's smiling? This comes from our friend and community member, Action Figure Snaps, aka Adrian Belgar. Homeboy reached out through Instagram, right? Nick DM'd us and said, "Hey, I work for a t-shirt printing company. Mad Engine, I believe, is the name of the company. I don't know if we were supposed to say that. I don't know if they want to be associated with us or if Adrian's going to get shot for giving us some swag from Mad Engine. But he said they just got a license to print Star Wars stuff, and he wanted to send us a shirt. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. It'll be a shirt. I can always wear a shirt. I mean, Nick, it's like he sent half the fucking store, bro.
Yeah, he loaded us down. I don't know if that's like every shirt that they're licensed to print.
Here's mine. And yes, I do wear schmedium, a smaller bust. You'll never catch me in anything different. There is a reason for that. I am a it's not even relative. I am a short male, clock in at about 5'6". Don't even make the average height for Americans. And the other thing is, I'm a little stocky. See, I work out, see these things, muscles and stuff. So I'm a little thick through here. And that's always caused a dilemma for wearing clothes. Pants and shirts in particular. Pants always look like I'm preparing for a flood or something. I got a bunch of extra material that I usually have to roll up or cut. Where shirts, I probably should wear a medium. Let's be real. I mean, I look like a little bit like I'm a sausage in this shirt. But when you're short and stocky, if you wear a medium shirt, the shirt tails or the bottom of the shirt will go down to like your dick. And if you're a guy, it kind of makes you look like an asswipe.
Yeah, you either have to like roll it or tuck it. So
yeah, and tucking in t-shirts, you are a fucking asswipe. Okay, if you tuck in a t-shirt, you're a dickhead.
Yeah. So I mean, the good thing about these is that they're all high quality shirts. They're 100% cotton, so you'll get a little bit of shrinkage in the wash.
Great, because look how this one fits now.
I went with the large because while Matt's a schmedium, I'm like in between. I'm like a medium large. I'm in between those two, and I skew. Like I tend to just go large because I know that eventually the shirt will shrink or I'll fuck up the wash and I'll shrink it too much. So these came in at a pretty good fit for me.
Yours like the largest, dude.
So many.
It would be a moo-moo on me. It would be a moo-moo or a tent.
You could wear it, and you could just wear a shirt, and you wouldn't have to wear anything else if you got the large.
Yeah, well, I kind of stepped on Nick, but what he was saying is like Adrian sent us so many different prints. I'm assuming we got the same kit. If not, I want exactly what Nick has. But the other thing, I mean, here's what makes Adrian. I mean, he's just moved up into like the top 5. Of SWTS fans at this point. Because he showered us with gifts. It's not hard. I mean, if you flatter me especially, you will be honored within the halls of the Star Wars Time Show legendary fans. But homeboy, like he knows enough about the show and he's listened enough of my stupid stories. He even sent 2 shirts for my little girl. And that's where I'm like, okay, this guy is an excellent human being, right? He's not just some, hey, I'm going to throw some shirts out there. I mean, he had enough foresight. He had enough, humanity in him to realize that my little daughter who loves Star Wars as much as I do would probably love to get a box that had some shirt. I mean, you should have saw her when I was like, hey, look, there's some for you too. And she's like, oh my God, that one's for me? Really, Daddy? Thank you so much. I love it. Because there are 2 like little Baby Yoda child shirts. So Adrian, we speak your name.
Yeah, he's in the chat. He popped in.
You are an all-star within the SWTS ranks of fan, formerly known as the Assholes. Soon to be known as the Fandalorians, right? But we'll get there so you guys can start yelling at us for allowing you to pick your own name. So we have nothing to do with it, motherfuckers. We did our AGT part to limit it down to the 4, and then you guys need to vote down to the 2 and then vote on the 1. So you got what you got. It's called voting. Do it.
Yes.
Really do it in America, November 3rd. All right? Let's vote for real, not our stupid ass votes.
Get on it. So, yes, thank you to Adrian. I mean, I think I got like 9 or 10 shirts. All of them look so fucking cool. I mean, I have to say that my favorite is probably the Empire 40th anniversary.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Like with Yoda and Dagobah, but like the colors are really bright and it's really awesome.
I like
looking.
it's one where they kind of remake one of the Marvel comic book covers.
That one was
Vader.
great too. I almost wore that one today, but
yeah, you've got one of the child ones on, because I think we got at least 3 or 4 child shirts. So again, great stuff. Thank you, Adrian, Mad Engine, the team over there printing up some great looking shirts. We love you.
Yes.
May the Force be with you always. All right, dude. So I guess we should get into a show of some sorts, and instead of just trying to fish for more free stuff from our fans. I saw something that Fanthatrax is doing, and maybe we can convince our cronies to do it here. But we need newer fans as well. But if a fan of their show leaves a review on Apple, they read the review and announce the fan's name on their own show. So I was like, hey, let's do it. I mean, come on. Some of you people literally pay Patreon money for that type of dumb shit. We'll read your names for free. You just got to take 2 seconds and leave a fucking review, you lazy motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, we already read you guys, your comments that you leave on the question of the week and all the other stuff that we do. So just take the time if you're going to, comment on an Instagram post or a Facebook post, just go comment on our review section on either Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. I don't think Spotify gives you the opportunity.
Who knows? But review it anyways. Do what you got to do. I mean, I'm convinced now after seeing some new metrics from Pandora that's been where we've seen this uptick in downloads and listens, young Nick. And it's this month dipped a little bit, so fuck you guys. I mean, we can never count on you guys to actually have back-to-back months of record numbers. So, I mean, that's on you. Like we said, we don't take credit for it going up or down. Our show sucks. We know that. Everything depends on what you people do. All right?
Exactly.
Hey, they're all, I mean, really, the Fandalorians, I'm going to keep saying it now because it's pissing them all off. But they're going nuts here in the Peanut Gallery chat over the vote. And again, it was a vote.
It was a legit vote. And I will tell you, it was close. We can,
I don't want to get there yet. We'll get there. That's part of the fan segment. Let them sit there and feel bad or feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah, so we'll get to it soon, but the vote was close throughout both polls. I will let you guys know that it was not like a blowout for one or the other through both of the 2 votes. So
I mean, really, the guy getting the most upset in this chat, Bossajan here, this motherfucker had a great recommendation, but he was too lazy to even submit it to be counted to get down to the top 4, and that would have been the McClunkies. Because I was kind of drunk DMing with him Friday night when I was watching Return of the Jedi, which, by the way, check out my commentary of the best scene in Star Wars on Instagram. It's not completely safe for work, but if you listen to the show, it's not going to...
That's what you can expect.
Right, it's not going to surprise you. I mean, it's me. I think I talk for a minute and a half and probably say the F word at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, if you were listening back in the days of the Drunk Mattcast, may have done the exact same rant at one point.
Yeah, more than likely. I can't tell you how great it's been on this rinky-dink projector and screen setup. Again, I bought a 100-inch screen and a doable projector, 1080p, for $200 total, and it's been the best investment I've done since being locked up. It's in watching the old, like in particular the original trilogy on the big screen outside with a fire for some reason it's life right now. So
how is it like in terms of like the saturation and the color? Does it look like really dim on the screen when you're outside?
No, brightness is fine, but that's the problem. You can't these days, especially because we just passed the longest day of the year. I mean, we're talking it doesn't get crispy until about 10:30.
Yeah,
but it's dim enough that you can see and start a movie around 9:00.
Okay.
And for a $120 projector, man, I can't bitch at all. Yes, it could use better color saturation. It actually has really good brightness, which is sometimes the biggest issue with projectors. It's not perfect, and I'm a video audio file type of guy. It's not perfect, but for what we use it for, going out on the deck or even just down to Star Wars Time HQ to throw it up for a rainy day movie night, it's been well worth it. So much so that I'm probably going to drop big money on a real projector to permanently mount down in Star Wars Time HQ.
There we go. So that was Matt's good weekend. A little bit of drunk watching of Return of the Jedi. I've been rewatching Rebels. So I just finished season 3 actually right before we went live. Season 3 ends, if you've seen Rebels, with the Thrawn attacking Atollon, the rebel base on Atollon. And I was telling Matt that like
Ezra's short hair by season 3, right? Like that was a big surprise because end of season 2 is when he gets the Sith holocron. Mm-hmm. He's holding it, and you can see that it's kind of infecting him a little bit, right? And then season 3 is that where he opens? He's got the cut, and they're on a mission, and he kind of does some shady shit with the Force, and they're like, "Whoa, dude!" Like.
Yes, exactly. Season 3 is also where you get the Twin Sons episode, which is the final showdown between Maul and Obi. And then there's, you get the Ahsoka on Malak. No, like that's season 2, I think.
That's 2,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so season 3 is the introduction of Thrawn. You get bits of dark Ezra. You get the final showdown between Maul and Obi-Wan. You get the Atollon attack at the end of it, which was this one. That's actually very reminiscent of Empire. So if you've never seen Rebels, the end of season 3, you get a really cool attack on a rebel base that features AT-ATs, that features tunnel systems, that features interdictor class star destroyers that are preventing the rebel fleet from escaping, and a lot of things that are reminiscent of Empire. But it was really awesome. You get to see a Jedi, Kanan Jarrus, taking down AT-ATs with a lightsaber, kind of like you saw with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it's I've been wanting to go back to Rebels, but in my head, in my Star Wars OCD head, I'm like, no, you got to fucking finish your chronological Clone Wars first. Which at this point, the pace I'm on, I should complete by 2025.
There we go. So by that time, we will have already seen the entire new Star Wars movies.
Shit, dude, those movies aren't coming out. There's no fucking Star Wars movies coming out. That's a big joke at this point.
Oh man, and that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. The big joke that is,
Disney's
going on with Star Wars.
Disney's going to erase their trilogy now. They spent all that money, but now they're going to retcon it. Yeah.
So, before we get there, though, we'll jump into some actual news.
Maybe. Well, the first one is another rumor. We have one actual legit news piece we'll talk about next. And it literally
just dropped probably 15 minutes ago. So
I'm pretty sure at this point the peanut gallery chat, they've all left. They're on strike because they didn't get their assholes name, which means they just probably didn't vote, and they're a bunch of lazy assholes. So
gotta vote. But Matt, hit us with this.
Yeah, so this is going to be exciting. I mean, it is for me. It is for those in the chat that are other collectors of the Star Wars Black Series line. And that is the rumor, which initially popped up over at Yak Face. Again, we all know he's going to find these little nuggets hidden within POS system databases. You never know. But apparently, there was, every summer there is a convention exclusive Black Series figure. I think last year it was the Sith Trooper with all the extra accessories. Previous years, I think it was Han Solo, Bespin action. You get it. Collectors get it. So what Yak Face is hearing is that this year's convention exclusive was going to be Cad Bane. Now, obviously, there is no SDCC, there is no celebration. So he's thinking here that this Cad Bane, if real, will eventually hit Hasbro Pulse. So, Nick, I for one think that Cad would make for an excellent 1/12 scale Star Wars figure. I think we were talking about him last week when you brought up the Battle of the Non-Force users. I'm a big believer in Cad. I think he's a tough guy. I think he should have been ranked higher than a few of those fucking Mandalorians you love. But back to the whole figure scene, just accessory wise, sculpt wise, Cad Bane would be an amazing figure to collect.
Yeah, I was going to say, in terms of the sculpt itself, I think he would be so unique in terms of the Star Wars figure landscape. Because like you mentioned, even just shitting on the Mandalorians, like you have a lot of Mandalorian-esque figures with Boba and Jango, and then you have all of the clones. You have, the Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin. So a lot of these like bounty hunter-esque figures that we already have are really focused on one aesthetic type. And Cad Bane is just completely opposite of that. Like Cad Bane is this like old West looking motherfucker with a big ass hat. He's got the blue eyes and the really red eyes that kind of make you think that he could be like Chiss related, because that's their aesthetic as well. That's what they look like. But then you mentioned too, all of his accessories, like you can see in this picture that Matt's got up, he's got the arm, like the little armband things.
Great
he's got
accessories,
his dual guns
the face tubes. I mean, oh my God, if you could take the hat, the cowboy hat off, or the fedora, whatever that thing is. He's just a cool looking character. I have a sculpt of him that Old Boy Cuts made, and I got this back when I really sucked at toy photography. Now I just sort of suck, but I'm also someone that once I take a picture of a figure, it's like I've completed an exam or something. That figure goes the fuck away. I never want to see it again. I don't want to take another picture. I mean, Nick, you should see how many awesome figures I have that I only captured when I first started shooting action figures. So they were terrible shots. But I mean, I have pretty much every figure art Star Wars character. I have some old Hot Toys. I got the Chewie Hot Toys. I just refuse to take them back out at this point because, again, I was a good boy. I completed my homework. I'm not doing it again.
You're done. You don't need to look at those again. You don't need to reference those again. So that's it. But yeah, man, I know that you have a Cad Bane pop shot back in your Haywood Pop backlog, and that looked awesome. And that's just a pop. I mean, can you imagine a fully articulated Black Series figure of Cad Bane? I mean, I think that would be one of the coolest figures for people to take shots of. And I can only imagine what some of like the big powerhouses like Papa and Sir Dork and everything, and everybody in the chat too, like what they could do with a figure like Cad Bane that is so unique to the Star Wars world. I think it would be a good call if this did release sometime this year.
Yeah, and they're saying here in the chat, and I think Joe has a good point, Klondike Studios, I mean, Cad would also be an excellent 1/6 scale, like a Hot Toys, because they would make a real leather duster. Again, just back to all the accessories, the details in the sculpt, the tubing. I mean, he would be a fantastic 1/6 scale, where you are going to get much more detail, especially in the soft goods and accessories, so on and so forth. I mean, there's you could ship him with a clone trooper armor, because doesn't he like sneak in wearing that shit at one point in time? He was a really kick-ass character, and I wish they would have followed up with his story in Clone Wars, because was that a few celebrations ago, Filoni showed that unfinished clip where it explained what happened to Cad Bane, how Boba got a little more of his prestige, but also how Boba got the dent in his helmet. Yeah, and that's because these two essentially have a duel and Boba wins. Dude,
I think that, in my opinion, that was never canon, obviously, because like you said, that was shown at a celebration, and like that was the plan for what was going to happen to Cad Bane and Boba. I think that Cad Bane is a perfect character for the Mandalorian television show.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, like you said, as long as whatever Dave showed us is gone at this point, like it's not real anymore.
Yeah, like it already has, the show already has that perfect Old West vibe to it, like this kind of Firefly-esque, like Old West in space vibe. You bring in a character like Cad Bane, who is an infamous bounty hunter, who has possibly survived through the Imperial times, through the Clone Wars times, and you can do what you wanted to do for Boba, like give him prestige by killing Cad Bane. You can do that for Mando now. Like you can say, hey, Mandalorian, like you're already kind of this famous figure, but like your legend can grow even more in the bounty hunting community.
I'm starting to wonder if he was one of the characters I had my guest video for the end of episode 5 of Mando, if that was him.
I don't remember.
I think I might have. Even if I didn't, I'm going to say I did, because it's not like any of these people will go double check it. So yeah, I already put it out there that Cad Bane could have been the guy in Mandalorian. So yeah, Nick, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
No, he'd be fantastic, and they're kind of they're kind of agreeing with us here in the peanut gallery, except for Papa P. Of course, I guess Mando's a pussy to Papa P. That's fine.
Mando, come on,
he thinks Bane would beat Mando's ass. Except Bane got fucking taken out by busted ass kid Boba Fett. So on that one, that was canon, and it still is canon until Nick tells me otherwise.
Yeah,
I want to go back to Papa P's beard though.
Papa's beard is...
Yeah, I commented, I was like, dude, you're real life Zangief. And he, again, if he doesn't come up with it, it's not right. So he says it's real life Leonidas.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, man. I mean, you may have to like fully take off your shirt and show us your 12 pack if you're going for Leonidas.
You're fucking 300.
Yeah, if you're going with Leonidas, I mean, I'm talking, you got to have at least 10 abs showing.
Yeah, I know.
And then we'll change it. Otherwise, you're Zangief. Okay? It is what it is. Mando has plot. Everyone has fucking plot. Luke Skywalker has plot armor. Like, what are you talking about?
Armor. Everybody's got plot armor from
anyone
George
that
Lucas.
is a big character has plot armor. We love you though, Triple P, but you're Zangief in real life. So, anyways, Cad Bane, Black Series exclusives. Black Series exclusive. Hope it's real. But as they've been saying here, Apollo 8 in particular, good luck securing one if it goes up on Hasbro Pulse. It might be easier this year, I hope, because there aren't going to be any to be sold at the con. So hopefully the full stock is available online. But anytime an exclusive toy goes up and nut jobs like myself and other people here that listen to us go to get one, it's never a fun experience. I think the most recent shitty toy buying experience was the 1978 Christopher Reeve Superman from Mezco. Anyone listening, you know what I'm talking about. And then Mezco just had another shitty one yesterday when they released their surprise Nosferatu, which I secured. I don't even fucking care about Nosferatu, but it's just gotten to the point with Mezco, Nick, if they drop a new figure, I'm fucking buying it, because I could sell it to some other asshole for like triple the price.
There we go. Matt's getting in the scalping game now, guys.
I don't
That's
do
where
that.
It is.
I don't do that. I am not a black market flipper. No fucking way. Although sometimes I would, if I buy two, I might try to make money on one to pay for my one. It goes back to the day when you're slinging and slanging. All right, so Cad Bane, please, Black Series. I think that'd be excellent. Yeah,
come out. I would agree with this. This looks like a pretty awesome figure if we can get it. So we'll see. But the next piece of news, the next piece of actual news here, like I said, just dropped like literally 9 minutes before we went live, and it is going to be focusing on some Mandalorian stuff, not the TV series side of things, but we're talking about the book and comic book series side of things. So
let me preface this real quick. So I believe there's again, you know how I bitch and moan about other Star Wars fan personalities out there. There was some great bullshit that happened last week. I mean, we kind of keep it among ourselves in our Slack chat, but two motherfuckers got called out, at least by me. None of those other idiots on Reddit will ever call them out, but the one guy, this Noah Outlaw cheesehead, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Oh, celebration's canceled today. It's coming, guaranteed. Never happened. Yeah. Happened like a week later.
Yeah.
The other one here, this one was fantastic, and I believe that's what this story is that Nick is talking about. But last week he's like Jordan Mason or something like that. He's like, stand by, Mando news coming. Not like a trailer or anything, but some Mando news you may be interested in. Friday comes around. Well, doesn't look like it's coming this week. I guess I was wrong, but it's coming sometime. It's coming. It's like, okay, well, anyone with a brain and the ability to type on social media can start doing what these people do.
Yeah, it's like, hey, there's news about something soon. Like, I know that, like, when something like this, like, this dude was like teasing it, like, oh, Mando, and it like literally this drops today, and it's about a Mandalorian publishing initiative.
Yeah, this is essentially the High Republic move but for the Mandalorian universe. This is that far out idea of this interconnected Star Wars universe that takes place in the Mandalorian timeline. Like, whoa, holy shit, Star Wars is all connected. Are you serious, man?
It's oh my God, dude, it's so obvious that these people are just like yes, there is a lack of Star Wars news happening right now, mostly because productions have been put on hold, even book releases have been put on hold, but man, like, there's news coming soon, or like just other bullshit.
You know what it is,
like,
though,
man.
Nick? It's like, this is me, too. This is my problem. This isn't Nick. This is that black hole, the void in my soul I talk about, where it blows my mind who gets kind of propped up in the Star Wars fan community as like, oh, wow, there's someone we should listen to. Yet they fucking fail after fail after fail, and anything they hit on, it's so general that my little daughter could make the prediction. I mean, it's shit like, hey, The Mandalorian Season 2 dropping in 2020.
Yeah, it's literally like, what is the easiest, most low-hanging fruit that we can get here? We know that Mando Season 2 is October 20, or like October 2020 release date. And let's see, right now it's almost July. So we're probably going to get Mando.
Here we go. I'm going to put one out right now. This source is confirmed. Mandalorian Season 2 is going to debut on a Friday in October.
Whoa. This is big news here, people. You heard it here first.
Just make sure to cite us, cite the show. Don't steal our leads and exclusives here. But Mandalorian Season 2 will air on Fridays. Okay? You heard it here first.
Put it down.
Thank you. My job is done. Mic drop.
Yeah, that's the end of the cast. Thank you for tuning in.
Anyways, dude, back to this stuff. So, I mean, I'm not completely shitting on the Mandalorian reading universe, although we know I'm not going to read anything. But if you look at the list, there are a few that a simpleton like myself could probably get into. And I'm mainly talking about the art of the Mandalorian, which I think is going to be fantastic. I buy most Star Wars art books. And then the Mandalorian, the Ultimate Visual Guide, which I'm always a fan of those too, even though I think Pablo's kind of a dickhead. But that's just me. All the other stuff, it's like, nah, ain't gonna happen. It looks like little kid shit.
Yeah, you got some.
You got one adult novel, the Mandalorian original.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like the novelization of Season 1 or if it is a new original kind of story around the Mandalorian that doesn't really, even if you go to the pre-order page for it, it doesn't really give you any sort of information on what the plot is for it, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a novelization of Season 1. Then you get a level 2 reader, so Mandalorian Allies and Enemies. A level 2 reader is like a children's book, for those of you who don't know. Mandalorian 8x8 storybook, so that's another one. That's just going to be like another kid-focused book. And then you get a junior novelization by Joe Schreiber.
Yeah, the other thing I didn't read because, again, reading is not fundamental to me, but they are going to be dropping some Mando-inspired comics on Marvel or IDW, so I'll be down for that. I actually you remember, we were starting to get into comics before all this bullshit happened, and then comics have all been kind of put on hold. But I mean, I was doing at least a video or two a week just covering new canon tidbits that these comics were giving us. So you can count on me for jumping on the Mando comics if we're ever allowed to read comics again. If Nick's still alive, you can count on him for at least to look at the novel and read the inside cover and then pull everything else out of his ass to talk about what it is.
Yeah. That's usually what I do.
Yeah, just
I don't really read the whole book.
Just read like the first sentence.
Yeah, like I'll read the Wikipedia plot summary, and then I'll give you guys basically the lowdown for that. So
I don't know, man. I guess if you like to read shit, you're gonna get some Mando stuff. I mean, it always adds to the lore. We've gone over it. I'm just it's too boring to me. It's not the medium that keeps me going these days anymore. It just doesn't capture my attention. Yeah. And I know I love it. Like when you were recounting or recapping Chapter 1 of the High Republic, I was like, man, this is probably really fucking great to read. You're probably reading, you're like, ooh, I want to get to the next page. I want to find out what's happening. What's this shit coming through this hyperspace lane? But then it's just like the effort required and the time required to either listen to it read to you like you're a baby or to read it yourself is just, it's still too great for me. Wow, I know. Woe is me. My life is so tough.
Yes, so just stay tuned. When High Republic drops, I'll give you guys a lowdown. When Thrawn second trilogy drops, I will give you guys a lowdown, and then we'll see what the content of this Mando novel is. If it's just a novelization of season 1, I'm probably not going to get into it because I don't need to. If it is some sort of original content around Mandalorian, maybe
you're right. Good point. You're probably right. That probably is kind of like the storybook version, but which, as we found out with the Rise of Skywalker, they just cram all sorts of extra plot in there.
You could put some extra stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, that.
Who needs plot in the fucking movies anymore, right? Just put them in the books. Fuck it.
Yeah. From what I've heard, the way that the novelizations of the movies work is that they work off of an approved pre-shooting script. So like they'll get like a third or a fourth draft of a script that still has a lot of intact pieces of things that hit the cutting room floor from the movie, and they use that. So that's why, even going back to prequel times, you get scenes in there like that mentioned, Mace Windu's lightsaber fighting style. That mentioned the Lost Jedi that we never really got to see in the movies. And then that's also why
you mean Jedi Master SWTS, not to be confused with Darth Sidious.
You could get Sifo. They had stuff about Sifo Dyas. They had stuff about the other Lost Jedi like Dooku and some of the other ones that were.
Speaking of Dooku, did you see Papa Palpatine's favorite director dropped a nice comment on the prequels?
Oh, Rian Johnson. Yeah, he said that didn't he say that they're like a super eloquent 7-hour long film or something like that?
Yeah, I'll summarize it because why go look for it? But he essentially says that the prequels are a beautiful film that shows how people that feel entitlements, this, that, and the other thing, and fears eventually become fascist assholes. So I thought it was a good take. I mean, it is what it is because really, it's kind of what we're dealing with, where you got a knucklehead and everyone's like, "Oh, all hail the emperor," and you're like, "What the fuck's going on with people here?" Like we're literally in bizarro world. So
yeah, we're living through the Star Wars prequels. Let's hope that they don't end the same.
Of course,
way.
Ryan got fucking beat to shit just for even commenting on Star Wars because we got to fucking hate everybody that makes Star Wars movies we don't 100% agree with. But I thought it was funny. I like it. I mean, I really we should pull it up. I'm not going to look it up on your own, but Ryan, it was a good quote. I did like the quote. I thought it was a good summary of what the prequels are.
I will say that, there's a lot of recently after the release of TLJ and Tross, I don't think that people realize how much of a renaissance the prequels are having right now. And it's because as soon as they see something else they don't like, they can go back and say oh, well, the prequels are great now because George Lucas did them. But you have to realize, go and look up prequel sentiment not even pre-sequels. I'm talking pre-TLJ.
There's a reason George Lucas wanted to get out of the fucking Star Wars game.
Yeah,
it wasn't just money and work. It was he was tired of getting fucking hot pokers up his ass.
Yeah,
from everyone that says they love articles
being written as early as 2015, post TFA release, where prominent news and journalist sites were saying hey, the next logical move for Star Wars now that we see the success of the possible success of the sequel trilogy with how good TFA was is to reboot the prequels. That's 2015. This isn't 2005, right after the release of ROTS. This isn't 2008 when we're talking, the release and the ongoing of the Clone Wars TV series. This is 2015. Yeah. This is 5 years ago. So the love around the prequels and the shifting in mindset around the prequels has literally just happened within the past 3 years.
It's completely revisionist. And I'm someone I'm essentially in prequels anonymous at this point. Where I was one of the biggest fucking prequel haters in the world. That's kind of what I built my rep on in the show. That's why I'm the angry guy in the logo. All that anger stems from the fucking prequels and its treatment of Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, and it's one of those things where it's like I never hated them. I never loved them as much as I loved the original trilogy. And some people, like there's a faction of people out there now who not really hate the originals, but who are like the originals are overrated. And look, I am never one to I'm never going to be the type of person who's going to hate a Star Wars fan over what their favorite trilogy is at this point, because I like movies from all of them. But I'm not saying that the prequels are bad, but you do have to realize that the facts around the prequels and the critical reception and the fan reception were very bad back then. And now there's a coming around that's happening either due to just the negative sentiment around the sequels or something else in Star Wars land, just the desire to have George Lucas back. And like Papa's saying in the chat, he's always been a prequel homer from the beginning. And I love people like that. I love people who can watch the prequels and really enjoy them, and it brings their Star Wars fandom even deeper. And I love people who like that about the sequels. I thought Papa would have been
older. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Maybe Papa's a younger buck than I thought, but I figured he would have been ushered in with the OT with how much he likes Vader and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
But he's saying the prequels are what got him into Star Wars. So he's either a late bloomer like you, or he's much younger than we thought. I'm telling you, that beard and his muscly body is very misleading.
It is. I mean, it's a conversation that we've had on this podcast a few times. When did your Star Wars fandom start? Because for you, it was basically from birth.
I can't even tell. It's life to me. It'll be the same for my daughter. She doesn't even know. It's been normal life.
Yeah, you were grandfathered into Star Wars from your parents, from your dad, and I never really had that. So,
Papa P's he's my age, so he's a late bloomer, man.
Yeah, he's so he got.
You're not even a real fan, Papa P.
Yeah, and then. For you, it was your whole life from when you were a kid. For me, my parents either didn't care about Star Wars. I think my mom said she saw it in the theaters when she was younger, and she thought it was cool, but it wasn't something that she was. I mean,
your parents are Star Wars communists, is what
basically.
You're saying.
Yeah. So I came to it. I mean, later in life, I saw the first movie, the original trilogy when I was 10. And then, that soon after that is when the prequels came out. But it really does heavily depend on what you saw first, what you identify more with, and what you kind of grasped.
I'm with you, man. I mean, we just like to push people's buttons. At least that's what I'm doing here. I don't really, I can tell you there are some fans that are just fucking ass wipes. They're just looking to pick fights because it makes them feel special. I dislike the prequels. The Clone Wars have brought me around on those big time. And my dislike for the prequels is similar to those that dislike the sequels here. It's you probably had an image in your head of what they could be, and then you get what you get, and it didn't fulfill that vision, and you're a little disappointed. Yeah. It just depends how you want to deal with it. You're going to be a fucking jerk off and blame it on stupid stuff like social things and girls, or you're just gonna be hey, it didn't live up to my expectations. Oh well, it's a movie. Who gives a shit? Yeah,
I will say that the prequels. I mean, we did get the introduction and what would eventually become the awesome series that is Clone Wars, like you mentioned. You got a lot of cool Jedi introduced to you. Yeah. You get to see the clones. You got a lot of cool canon things, and
this is no fucking joke. I don't mind watching the prequels now. It's something just to throw on because it's a visual treat compared to the original trilogy, which is very sterile, basic 1970s, 80s looking film tech. Still looks amazing for the era that it was made, but it doesn't look 2020 correct. The prequels are even looking a little dated, but with the 4K visuals, the Atmos, I mean, they're fun-looking movies, if anything else. There are neat scenes. There are a lot of flashy things, Jedi raves, this, that, and the other things. So
Jedi raves.
There are a few redeemable qualities, but like Sir Dork has said, and I stick to, The Phantom Menace is the best prequel for multiple reasons. Enough said.
So back to the story. Mando Publishing initiative has been kicked off. Keep your eye out if you are one to read either comic books or novels for the drop dates on this stuff yet. Nothing.
Well, I know
nothing has
Nick,
been announced yet.
The art book is up for pre-order, but I'm thinking these are all going to be December releases. So I clicked on the art book and it said December 2020. I'm too lazy to click on this right now, so go look at it, people.
Yeah, the art book and then the original novel, as it's called, which is probably the novelization, are both available for pre-order on the Random House.
Okay, so this next topic here is a treat. This is going to kind of be like Star Wars.
This is going to be Papa's favorite part of any show that we ever
Star Wars fan school for those of you that may be stupid enough to buy into this type of shit, right? This is like drinking bleach will protect you from the virus type of dumb. Everyone can see the title at this point. Those listening, I'll read it to you. This comes from Cosmic Book News.
Not comic book news.
Literally. From Matt McGloin, a retired NFL quarterback, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Disney resetting Star Wars, erasing Last Jedi. All right, right there you should go. Okay, this is going to be a fun read. This has to be comedy, right? But no, then you start scrolling through it and you realize that this rumor comes from the future ruler of Earth, okay, self-described future ruler of Earth, the Doomcock Overlord DVD YouTube channel, okay? So apparently Nick and I have been fucking living under a rock these past few years. We had no clue that the future ruler of Earth, aka Doomcock Overlord DVD, had all of these motherfucking secrets and inside knowledge about Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
So Doomcock is telling us that the powers at Disney are warring over the sequel trilogy. And the battle is taking place between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. It's a civil war, in fact, over the direction of Star Wars. So Doomcock here is stating that the Disney Star Wars trilogy that they've spent billions of dollars on to market, produce, set in stone,
made billions of dollars off of,
they're just gonna nullify it all. Like fuck it.
Oh well, wait. They are not going to nullify it all. They said that they're going to isolate it into its own alternate timeline.
There you go. Yes. Something that is done in Star Wars all the time. And he cites why, right? We had the world between worlds, right? That's how this is going to happen. Okay. See, it happens. World between worlds. Essentially, we're getting a massive Star Wars reset. Okay. Papa, he hasn't been right about shit. He hasn't been right about shit. Like, if you actually read the article, Doomcock hasn't been right about shit. He's another one that pulls stuff out of his asshole and sticks it to the wall, and maybe one word of a 50-word paragraph is correct. Like, he got the right in his statement.
They also call him out as the person who provided the Rise of Skywalker spoilers, and he did not. He was not the leaker.
Right.
At all.
I mean, the leaker is MSW and fucking Praxis on Reddit.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, get your shit fucking straight. So Doomcock, I mean, this is going down. If the plan comes to pass, everything that Kathleen Kennedy did with the sequel trilogy will be destroyed, tossed out, and declared obsolete. Yes, that is what big corporations do. Totally. I mean,
they
literally
totally put out an entire trilogy. They market it as the end of the Skywalker saga. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey guys, you remember all of that marketing and all of the stuff that we did with these 3 movies that were highly successful, regardless of what some fans think? We're going to just now make those not canon anymore, and we're going to just redo the whole thing. So instead of focusing on a new era of Star Wars that's going to bring in new fans, that are going to bring new stories and new characters and everything else, we're going to take the trilogy that we just made, remake it, and then possibly not be able to do that because all of the old actors that are needed to reboot this trilogy could possibly either die or not want to do it.
Hey, guess what? One is dead. So
yeah, Carrie Fisher's already dead. Mark Hamill doesn't want to do Star Wars anymore.
I guess Princess Leia is not going to exist in this new timeline.
Yeah.
But anyways, Palpatine's going to do this because he had a room on the second Death Star called the Room of Mirrors. Duh. The Room of Mirrors, right? We all knew this. and using these, it linked him to the veil of the Force. He could manipulate the Force in many ways. He could use the mirrors to allow Palpatine to cloud the Jedi Council, right? It had nothing to do with the dark side. It was these fucking mirrors, right? I mean, Palpatine was just a puppet to the mirrors all along. He's not the greatest Sith. He's not the master planner we've always thought. It was these fucking mirrors in the Veil of the Force, right? We all know about the Veil of the Force. George Lucas talks about it all the time. Right? Oh, jeez, we're all so fucking stupid. Doomcock, thank you. Thank you, Doomcock. Mike, you got some spoilers right on Game of Thrones, so all this bullshit is definitely going to be correct. Doomcock, give us more Doomcock. Here's where it gets really crazy. Regarding how things will be reset, it's explained that all one has to do is go into the Veil of Mirrors and wait for Palpatine to enter, as the Veil is a mystical dimension wherein all times collide, which will cause the Disney Star Wars trilogy to consign to its own alternate timeline forever, as Palpatine enters the Veil and never gets back to Exegol.
Yeah, it's just
the Emperor's prevented from using the mirrors to return. He dies as it was intended in Return of the Jedi, and Bob's your uncle, and all our problems are solved, explains Doomcock.
There we go. That is from Star Wars insiders themselves. This is coming from sources, people. Are you like... Literally, this guy has said mirrors so many times that it sounds like an old commercial for DLP TV.
I mean, this is where you can tell it's just an angry, butthurt male Star Wars fan right here. No Disney sequel trilogy. Han doesn't walk stupidly into a lightsaber, which he doesn't. Leia doesn't fly like Mary Poppins. We'll talk about that actually coming up soon. Luke has nothing to run away from and consumes no green milk, because Luke definitely was like, Captain America and that type of superhero, right? And I am informed there will be no amazing one. Of course, we can't have a powerful woman in Star Wars. No fucking way.
And then also this all comes from the fact that the war, here's the big thing. The war is between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
it doesn't.
Papa wants me to make clear that this guy has hit before, so he's not a complete Alex Jones. Like, all right, I'll put that statement out there.
I will say that we have hit before on things too,
right.
But that doesn't mean that any of the shit that we say on this show as speculation or postulating about what's going to happen in the future will ever come true.
But don't worry. Don't listen to us. It goes on. There's already proof that this exists. Okay, so we're just two gas bags that don't know shit. There is proof. Doomcock has offered it up. All right. Doomcock offers proof that this may be happening in a scene that was included in Rise of Skywalker, which featured Rey confronting her dark side self, where mirrors can be seen in the background. It's said it's unknown if Abrams knew what the scene was about, but it demonstrates the plausibility of this. Okay, so J.J. Abrams doesn't know about his own fucking production at this point.
Yeah, he literally wrote it. Like, do you think that somebody from like mysterious Disney Lucasfilm land came in and snuck an entire scene into his movie that he wrote with his writing partner, and then JJ just didn't notice it?
I know.
And then just decided to film it anyway.
I mean, really, it all goes back to, it's like, and the crazy thing is, I mean, you got Papa fighting up for this guy. I mean, Doomcock's got a following, just like Mike Zero. We don't have a fucking following. Why do you think I get so fucking crazy? Why do you think I get so fucking crazy? It's because people follow fucking bullshit. That's all people want anymore. They want bullshit. They want non-reality. They want things that make them feel good because something in their life didn't go their way or the way they wanted it to go. I mean, that's what people want these days. Outside of Star Wars, it's everywhere. People want to pretend that life is all peachy and great. There is no fucking virus. Let's go on vacation. It's the same thing that's happening here. I would love to rewrite the fucking prequels, but I'm not a moron. I'm not going to sit here and do like, it ain't fucking happening.
The unfortunate thing is that it's not easy to find shit like this about the prequels because the internet back then wasn't what it is now.
All this shit would have happened.
If you can go back.
This all happened with the prequels.
Yeah, like you can go back and you can find shit that literally breaks down how the prequels are going to be redone. It's going to be an older Anakin Skywalker in the first movie. You're not going to have kid Anakin. And it basically what it does is it does everything that this article is doing here, where it picks out the specific things that people don't like about that trilogy and they reboot
I mean,
it.
that's where he outs himself. I mean, you know, it's horseshit when you get into this stuff where it's the typical, you know, dude in his mom's basement argument against the Disney sequel trilogy. And I'm not sitting here saying it was fucking fantastic. I've gone on record saying the sequel trilogy ultimately is a letdown because it does not have a cohesive narrative from start to finish. Each movie has some pros and cons within their own contained selves, but the trilogy itself is not great because there is no clear message. Right? Yes. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, fuck, it's all Rey's fault. It's all Kathleen Kennedy's fault. Guess what? Kathleen has bosses that make a lot more money above her that could do whatever the fuck they want. Bob Iger pulls the fucking triggers, or did. Bob Iger's the one cutting the checks, all right? She works for him. She does what he wants.
Yeah, and we all know that he was very happy to say in his book that he has direct, you know, influence over the stories of Star Wars.
Right. I mean, this guy was proud that he meddled around with Mandalorian episodes. He's proud that he gets to watch them 3 times. One time to figure out what they're not doing that he doesn't like. A second time to see if they included it. And a third time to see the finished version.
Yeah. So,
right?
I mean.
And, you know, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy should be the head of Lucasfilm anymore. But it's not because she's a woman. It's because under her watch, they made some really fucking dumb decisions.
Yeah, they made really bad decisions about this trilogy. But the fact of the matter is that this isn't going to get reset. No. Just like the prequels aren't going to get reset. And 10 years from now, people are going to look back on this trilogy and they're going to say, you know what? I like this movie because of this reason. I like this character because of the way that they built her or him. Or I like the decisions that they made here because now it's relevant in my life in a way that wasn't when I first saw it. Like, what you have to realize is that, yes, this is not the OT remade and Star Wars gold is falling from the skies. Like, this is another version of the prequels where there is a large contingent of fans who don't like it. There's a large contingent of fans who do like it. And you're never going to be in a situation where it's the perfect representation of Star Wars.
Trust me, humanity is broken to the point because of social media. We'll never like anything as a cohesive unit ever again. It's impossible. It is impossible. George Lucas could come out of retirement, make another trilogy, and there'd still be people hell-bent on vomiting all over it. Yeah, it's just how it is, man. I mean, it's fucking social media has destroyed human behaviors. Everyone has a fucking platform now. Everyone can be a keyboard warrior. Everyone's got their soapbox out. Look at our 2 dumbasses. We do it. We're sitting here talking on mics like anyone gives a flying shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, here's welcome to 2020. Welcome to the 21st century.
One other thing that I really love about this article and how they try to call this guy out with credibility. He says, they also say he provided the Rise of Skywalker spoilers, which is not true. And then he's apparently said something about like Kevin Feige doesn't like Brie Larson. And that's why Kevin Feige went back and said that, oh, well, Scarlet Witch is the strongest character in the MCU now, as if that is some sort of like strike at Brie Larson and the Captain Marvel character. When Captain Marvel now has 2 movies that are going to be coming out, Scarlet Witch has 0. The only thing that Scarlet Witch has is a TV series that might get made.
That's probably not even going to get made now because it sounds like, I know like firsthand knowledge. Let's just say the Marvel live action Disney Plus shows are not being produced like the Star Wars stuff. As in, no one really fucking knows what they're doing. No one's prepared. I'm talking, hey, we're going to do this big action setup today, and they forgot that one character was involved in the fucking scene. Like they didn't bring the proper rigging, the proper costume. I mean, it doesn't sound great. So anyways, it's just, it's kind of for me to air my grievances with Star Wars fans, what I like to do. I don't know. I mean, maybe Nick and I just need to start being angry troll fuckheads, and then we'll get the following I want. And that's all I want. I just want hundreds of thousands of people to consume my stupidity like these people do.
Like this is pure stupidity. And like this, I will say this is what happens when there is a light Star Wars news week.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's what happens when you're an asshole. I mean, Mike Zero puts out this type of content multiple times a day.
That's true.
I mean, people live for this shit because they know they can dupe idiots. I clicked on it, right? I'm a fucking idiot. I clicked on the title.
From Cosmic Book News. Like what you guys need to realize is that this is cosmicbooknews.com. It's not even cosmicbooknews.com. It's cosmicbook.news. They couldn't even get the .com.
Yeah, they're assholes like us. We have .net.
Yeah, like it's so ridiculous.
Anyways, I mean, dude, let's keep it going. I mean, this is perfect for our special topic because our special topic this week was to go over the top good and bad moments from the Age of Resistance trilogy. So, I mean, this is an episode fully dedicated to our man, Papa Palpatine. Everything he likes to talk about, from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker. So Nick and I mean, for months now, we have a special topics section in our Slack that we just kind of throw ideas into, just in case we come across a week like this one. Where there really wasn't much, but as we do, and thanks to the Fandalorians in here, we've still got an hour on like a topic or two. So, we'll try to speed things along so we're not here for 3 hours. But what did we do? We did like 3 top moments, 3 bad moments spread across all 3 sequel trilogy movies, right?
Yes.
All right. I have the notes here somewhere. They're not going to be able to see the notes, but we have them to look at.
Yeah, so you guys don't need to see the spoilers of what we're going to talk about.
So go ahead. Let's start. I mean, knowing Star Wars fans, maybe we should start with the bad, because it seems that they like bad shit better.
Yeah, you know what? Let's start with the bad, because we were just talking about a really bad rumor. And then we'll end with the good, and then we'll roll into the fan segment and top 5. So I'll start off with my first bad. And I will say that 2 of my bads come from TLJ. 1 comes from Tross.
so Nick clearly fucking hates TLJ. Oh, so hold on. Papa Palpatine. Snowspeeder just arrived. Check this out. Those of you that are on the video version here, look at the size of this motherfucker. This is like, this kind of ties into last week when we were talking about top 5 1/12 scale ships we want. Nick, you'll eventually be able to see this. This thing, it's bigger than my face. It's massive. It's awesome. So have fun with it, Papa Palpatine. Let us know what you think, and I'm sure we'll see a shot much sooner than you'll see one from me, because there's no way I'm going to like suspend this thing to make it look like it's flying. It's probably just going to be in the background if I actually shoot it, but this is an awesome vehicle at 1/12 scale. So sorry.
I'm seeing the size of it now. That is a pretty. It's
huge,
big,
dude.
so.
I mean, it is huge, and I already got Dak sitting in his seat. Just got to shove Luke in there.
Nice.
All right, so let's sorry about that. Backpedal here. We are doing our top good and bad moments from the Age of Resistance trilogy. Nick was just going to get into the his first bad moment.
Yes, my first bad comes from TLJ, and specifically just Canto Bight in general. I understand what Ryan was trying to do in that whole kind of sequence on that planet, like show like war profiteering and the opulence that comes from from making money off of selling arms to both sides and all of this kind of thing. But I just think that the execution of it was like really weird and wonky, and like it didn't make sense.
It was dumb. It was too long. Yeah. It looked stupid. The race was dumb. I hate alien species that, even with the tech we have these days, it still don't look real. Those things didn't look real. The race through. I mean, there was a lot of cut out of that fucking segment too, Nick. I mean, there's a lot of deleted scenes from Canto Bight, but I'm with you. I mean, Canto Bight, I think, stands out to everyone as a miss. And I think it was just the dialogue was kind of cheesy, and really just the whole excursion just felt too long.
To me, like that also leads into to me, a pretty big missed opportunity with DJ. I think that he could have been used a little bit differently. Like not only just the character of DJ and this slicer, this hacker, but the person that was used to play him. I mean, you had an incredible actor playing him, Benicio del Toro, and then like you just don't use him. Like you put him in there, he's in it for 5 minutes. He does like some.
I mean, honestly, dude, I'll just lead into my first top bad then, because you've kind of already unearthed it a bit, and it was DJ's stutter in TLJ. I thought it was ridiculous, and I know Benicio's the one that chose to do it, but kind of like you were saying for the character in general, I mean, it just made the character seem silly. Not saying that people with stutters are silly, it didn't seem right for the type of character that DJ was.
Yeah, and like just so like him,
it was distracting. It's like, why, Benicio? Just be a kind of a smart ass shithead.
Yeah, like that character could have been played a lot of different ways, and then like you essentially made him inconsequential, which is fine. Like there's a lot of inconsequential characters within the Star Wars universe, but the way that you set it up is like you set it up to be like this code, like, there's this code breaker and all this other stuff. And I know when you get to like DJ isn't the code breaker that they were looking for, like it was a different person, but like it just felt like a really weird, unnecessary detour. And the one thing that I can like make it, make a comparison to, and like the biggest thing like to me was in the Batman Nolan trilogy, when they like all of a sudden out of nowhere, Batman ends up in fucking China. He's fighting people in a skyscraper, and then they just come right back. Like it was one of those situations to where like it doesn't make sense why you have this weird ass detour that doesn't really add anything to the plot, and then basically is just used as like a really bad, opportunity to throw in like this weird CG crap with the foggy erase, and like you have this opulent casino, and then it's an opportunity to talk about war.
Canto Bite sucked, DJ sucked harder. There we go. There's our two first bads. So go ahead and kick off your next one.
So my second one was not even necessarily inside of the TROS movie. It was something that was done outside of TROS that if put in the movie could have made it better.
Yeah, I mean this is just criminal here.
Yeah, it's literally criminal. So the Emperor Palpatine's reemergence speech that happened in Fortnite, the video game. I'm not like, if you don't know about this, we've talked about it a couple times on this podcast before. It fucking explodes my brain that they put the Emperor's literal, I'm back in the galaxy, I am alive, and I am still a presence to be dealt with in this galaxy. I'm telling
you right now, man, this cross promotion in Fortnite for major non-gaming brands needs to stop. I mean, they're even doing it to Nolan movies now, and it's like, I didn't think he would fucking allow for that shit. It just goes to show you how much power studios have. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get it. I understand it. You probably get it even more because you're a master marketer. But it's just like, man, how do you launch something that important for the Star Wars saga, the Skywalker story, in a fucking cartoony video game?
Yeah.
And it is a key part of your movie's somewhat silly plot, right? That this 140-year-old thing is alive after all, and hey, you find it out in the opening crawl. It's already happened. He's out. Blah blah blah. It was ridiculous. I didn't even believe insane. Nick when he first told me that they had the Emperor's message go off in Fortnite. I was like, fuck me running.
And dude, the way that, like, if you watch that video, the way that it happens is really cool. And it would have been. Did
they have a bunch of kids like sitting there teabagging each other and emoting, watching it? Like,
that's what it was. It was it was just people running around on the fucking Fortnite field, and then all of a sudden you get this like this omniscient galaxy-wide broadcast that's not done through technology. It's done through the Force, and it's Emperor Palpatine announcing his reemergence into the galaxy, and then you see the Exegol. Like, I don't know why they did it in the game, because it doesn't make sense in terms of the movie, but like you see the Exegol Star Destroyers like flying through the sky. Like,
I wonder, Nick, do you think he was given this message from the Veil of Mirrors?
It probably did come from the mirrors.
Then that's why it sucked. Then that's why it was in Fortnite.
So like, that is a huge plot point in this movie. That would have been such a cool scene.
Oh, dude, you're right. I mean, keeping it out made any early mention of Palpatine comical, and that's again where it's almost like we're connected through the Force here. But one of my next bad moments is Poe delivering the Palpatine speech in The Rise of Skywalker, which directly connects and correlates to Nick's point. Because if you would have had Palpatine's message in movie, it would have felt a little more natural to hear the stars and the leads talking about it. But when they're all talking around at the Resistance base, that dialogue is delivered in a way that rivals prequel dialogue. I'm talking like elevator scenes with Obi and young Anakin in Attack of the Clones. I'm talking the Rey shield nonsense in Revenge of the Sith. It's just bad. Or even same movie, but when poor Adam Driver has to say, "Rey, you're a Palpatine," it's like, it's not good. Like, it makes great actors look sucky.
Yeah, I mean, like, literally, this is how, for those of you who didn't read the crawl, this is how you know the Emperor is back in like the fold and Tross. If you didn't read the crawl, it is a scene with fucking Poe standing there by a radio transmitter, and he says, "Somehow Palpatine's returned." That's literally how it goes. And it's just like, dude, I don't know if like JJ fucking lost his mind when they were like, "Hey, we're putting this scene in Fortnite." Like, he probably rightfully should have, but like, that's not how you vocally say something like that.
It was all like it felt like they were acting, and that's not how things should feel when you're watching professionals do what they do on screen. Yeah, you should not feel like they were in pain delivering a line, and that whole scene just looks silly. Even reused Carrie Fisher doesn't look like she buys whatever the fuck Poe is saying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And look, it's just like, here, like Matt mentioned, I'm a master marketer. So if you want to go redo this whole marketing scheme around with, keep Fortnite in it for Tross, this is what you do. Your big selling point ahead of this movie that wasn't Palpatine, because that was the huge reveal at Celebration, and everybody fucking lost it and loved it. Like, you should have, like, Matt, you were in that room when it happened.
Oh yeah.
It went nuts. Everybody loved it. This is what you do. Your other huge selling point in terms of figures, in terms of just the visual aspect of Tross, were the Sith Troopers. Everybody saw this red armor and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so fucking cool." They hyped up these Sith Troopers to be the biggest thing. They're going to be the baddest motherfuckers in the galaxy. The Fortnite reveal then is your Sith Troopers, and this is how it happens. I will sell it to you now. You have one of the Exegolian Star Destroyers come down and land on the field. You have the bridge open up like it does for a Star Destroyer, where it drops down. You have fucking all of your smoke coming down like you do when Darth Vader or the Emperor comes out of their shuttles, and you just have an entire legion of Sith Troopers walk down, and they kill the whole field of players. Like,
yeah, then they all like start to dance and teabag all the players.
Yeah,
to really chintz up Star Wars even more.
Like, that's how you do it for a fucking
you're exactly right. I mean, again, Fortnite is, what do you think the main ages are? Like the big demo there.
Oh, dude, Fortnite is
6 to 18.
Dude, I have like a 7-year-old like nephew who plays.
That's what I mean.
So you're saying like you're 7 to early teens. I mean, to like late teens. Like that is your primary demographic.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. I mean, they would have been happy with a bunch of red shiny troopers coming out and just dancing with them. Like that's what they care about. They don't give a shit about big indoor stuff. And some of the peanut gallery, they're making good comments. Sorry guys, we can't pick up on all of them, but Tones is saying his kids loved it and he humored him, but deep down he was crying inside. And that's right. I mean, that's how you should feel. So good.
But that's the thing is like, your kids loved it, but your kids don't know the significance of what just happened.
Your kids don't dedicate their lives to Star Wars and take pictures of all the stuff, and they don't want their content for this beloved franchise that you've loved for decades to be delivered partially in a video game.
Yeah, like it doesn't make.
But they do it all. I mean, like I said, I was dumbfounded that Christopher Nolan is letting Tenet stuff get dicked off in Fortnite. It's just,
I just don't understand it.
Well, of course you do. It's a huge audience of engaged idiots, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But it's just like, as a creator of content, as somebody who enjoys the content that's being created and marketed in those games, it's like you can't put integral plot information into it.
You're right. It should have been something. It should have been a new emote. Like they sit there and lift up their gun and go, yeah. That's what you release in Fortnite. Not Emperor dead ass for hundreds of years and how's he even alive? Palpatine's, he's hitting the tour circuit again speech. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. So good pick there. Like, that's definitely a bad.
If you hear that too, it's just like the way that it was delivered, the mess, like it was good too. Like it was a good piece of movie content and you destroyed it by putting it in Fortnite. Right.
You don't even touch on it because the crawl treats it as if everyone logged into fucking Fortnite and saw it.
Yeah.
So it's beat. All right, man. Last top bad for Age of Resistance from you.
Mine was the Leia Poppins from TLJ. Not the fact, like, I'm not even mad.
Real quick, peanut gallery, directors would not make these decisions. These are all coming from Disney and the studios. The directors, they get duped into doing it because of money and contract stuff. This is all part of their promo obligations.
Yeah, that's their marketing machine.
Yeah.
JJ definitely did not say, hey,
fucking Disney.
Let's put this in in Fortnite.
It's the studios, 100%.
Yeah.
Good. Final top bad. So, we kind of teased this earlier.
Yeah. So the Leia Poppins thing for me, it's not the fact that she's a Force user and she could save herself from the vacuum of space. It's not that. It's the visual effect of it, like the literal, like that was the thing to me that got it.
It is. The flying motion is wonky as fuck looking.
Yeah. It wasn't. And it was completely unnecessary too. Like, to me, like what you have there that would make more sense is that her Force essence just takes over, and like you don't even have to have her move. Right.
Like, she floats like in her prone position, just kind of gets sucked back in by the Force, and not like she's Superman. Yeah,
and then like you could use like camera angles and lighting to pass across to the user, to the watcher, that like, hey, the Force has taken over. Like you use musical cues, you use camera angles, and you use lighting to say like the Force is at work here, and that is what's saving her, which I'm totally fine with. You just can't make her like open her eyes and look like Mary Poppins and fly like this. Yes. Like that's just not how you do it. So that was my other top bad moment. I didn't have any from TFA because, like I've mentioned multiple times,
that's your movie.
Like I love that movie. I love TFA, and I just don't think that there was anything as bad.
I already outed my final top bad, and it was Kylo's Palpatine reveal to Rey. It's just, again, it makes Adam Driver look like a doofus. Just the way it's delivered is just like, ugh. It's so dumb. And this is on record too. I hated the whole Rey Palpatine bullshit. I mean, it's like, why? You don't have to make her a fucking Star Wars god. She could have just been Rey. That would have been fine. But no, you are Rey Palpatine. It's just awful. I mean, I felt bad for a man like Adam Driver to have to deliver that line. So that was my final top bad. All right, top goods, Nick. I'll go ahead and start with this one.
You kick it off. Yep.
And I got one leading here from TFA because Nick took the one I really wanted to do from TFA, and that is the Chewie we're home moment, and then just really Han's talk with Finn and Rey. Because honestly, my friends, that's I'm sure when we all watched that, we're like, oh, this is why these sequel movies could be good. We're going to hear the old people talk about their lives to the young people. We'll get a few more insights. Because if you remember that conversation, he's like, yeah, Chewie, we're home. But then he tells Finn and Rey, like, yes, the rebellion, the Force, it's all real. Luke is this magical motherfucker. That was what I think we were all looking for in the sequel trilogy. Not so much the old people or the stars. I know some of you thought that it was just going to be original trilogy take two. I never felt that way. But I did think we'd get more of the older people being mentors, relating stories to these younger ones, kind of like we got a little bit with Lando and Tross. But it was a good scene. I mean, obviously it was nostalgic. You got Han and Chewie getting their Falcon back, and then you have them meeting the new crop of Star Wars legends. So it was a fun moment. And it was one that, kind of tricked us because we didn't get much more of that moving forward into episodes 8 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, I got chills just hearing you recount it because that scene was so powerful, and it did, like, if you go and watch TFA, and if you can, like, kind of put the rest of the sequel trilogy in a box and store it away in your memory, if you just watch that movie,
100%,
you're like, holy shit, like, there's a lot of good shit that can come here. Like, there's a lot
you're
of
100%
potential.
right. I remember walking out of TFA going, thank fucking God. It didn't have the prequel vibe. Yes, it felt like A New Hope, but is that a bad thing? And boy, have they lined stuff up to, get into some very interesting narratives. And it just didn't go that way because they thought that it would be cool to hire 3 different artists who all have their own vision to create a trilogy where you have to have a shared narrative. It's odd, but
yeah.
Oh man, what was that? 2015? Those were the days.
Yeah, no, those were the
things we're looking up for Star Wars, and then it just fucking
like the era of New Hope was 2015. Oof, but
didn't last long.
My first top good also from TFA.
I like top
and
good.
I have
we're
top
so
goods
smart.
From
like
every
our
movie.
Top good.
Yeah.
The fuck is a top good?
Bad. Top good.
Exactly. Fucking Star Wars time show with the Neanderthals.
Yeah. But I have top goods from every movie. So I have one from TFA, TLJ.
What's your top good, dude?
Top good. So mine is, first one is TFA, and it's the Rey lightsaber moment.
Yes.
In the forest on Starkiller Base.
Best moment of the sequel trilogy at this point. You can write that in stone. Dude,
I just, like, every time I see that in my head, and, like, I cried when that moment happened. You see it. It's fucking, like, the lightsaber is in the ground. It's in the snow.
It looks just like in Hoth, right? I mean, it's that angle. It wiggles a bit, and you know what's happening, but you don't, and then it happens. And really, we've talked about this scene 1,000 times over. It's a perfect Star Wars scene. It's not the best scene. Remember, go check out our IG. I break down the Revenge or the Return of the Jedi fight between Luke and Dad. The great part where Luke channels the dark side, that is the best scene in all of Star Wars. This one's probably number 2 because it has all the ingredients for a long-lasting, make fan cry type of Star Wars moment, right, Nick? It's got the visuals, but then it's got that motherfucking John Williams music, in particular, Luke's theme.
Yeah, dude, it just hits home. And it is, if you think about A New Hope, not just the movie itself, but the meaning and the words and what it is relevant to in Star Wars. That scene is the embodiment of the phrase "A New Hope" for Star Wars, because you see it, like, Kylo, you're like, Kylo is the last ancestral Skywalker, or you think at that point, you're like, and you see him pulling at it, but then, like, just the way it was acted was perfect. Like, the puzzling look on his face, like, he pulls at it and it doesn't come. And, like, the way that Adam acted it, his face in that moment was pure confusion. And then when you see it fly, Yeah, like you see it fly past because he tells Finn, he's like, that is my lightsaber. Like that is my birthright. And then when you see it fly past him and you see the surprise, like the facial emotional acting in that scene was beautiful because you see the confusion on Kylo's face and then you see the absolute and utter like surprise and then like this huge burden of responsibility that is now on Rey, all done through Daisy's face. And when she ignites that lightsaber, like, oh, like still even now, dude,
yeah, it's a
like,
great. It is a fantastic moment. There's no doubt about it. So good one. Like I said, I would have taken it, but you stole it. Going to a movie that's getting put through the ringer, especially in our live chat. A lot of people saying they loved it when they saw it, then they went home and hated it. That's not my top. When I first saw TLJ, I was like, this is pretty fucking great. That was some crazy shit. I thought they were going to kill Finn. I still think it has one of the better opening sequences to a Star Wars movie in terms of like the drama and Paige, Tico, and the bombs. I liked all that. Nick honestly was the one like, hey, this movie didn't quite jive with me. So Nick is definitely more in line with most people on TLJ. I'm not going to say it's my favorite. I don't even think it's in my top 5, but I'm not going to sit there and say it ruined Star Wars for me. I do like the unique take on it, and I like what he was doing with Rey. I don't like how angry he made Luke. I understand Luke being sequestered. I didn't really understand the anger towards Rey. But we're not going to get into that. We're talking about top moments. So I do have a top moment from TLJ, and I'm going with the throne room surprise. Not so much the fight, because if you honestly, I sound like Sean Connery now.
Sean Connery, yeah.
If you honestly watch that fight and you check out one of my buddy's Stuntmen Reacts videos where he breaks it down from the perspective of a stunt person that coordinates fight scenes, this, that, and the other thing, you can see that there's just a ton of shitty action. But the surprise part of having Kylo murder Snoke, the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking interesting. So it stood out to me then, stands out to me now. Unfortunately, again, we went back to Tross and kind of forgot about all that shit and just brought up the old big bad, so it didn't really matter in the end. But it was neat when you saw it the first time. Yeah.
I mean, it gives you like a clear villain. You're like, okay, like after the fight scene when basically Kylo goes full bad, then you're like, okay, this is my clear villain for the next one. And that in the way that it was done, the way that Ryan did that in TLJ was so cool. Like the way that you basically have Snoke narrating his own death.
Yeah. That's the moment I'm talking about. Not so much the fight. Really, the only cool thing about the fight is when Kylo, eye fucks the guy with a lightsaber.
Yeah, no. And then like I thought it was cool how you had like the red, like the silk burning in the background as the fight was going on. Like there were cool, like not really thematic, but like there were cool background.
Yeah, the visuals are there. It was a neat throne room because he essentially was just in a big space dome and had those super long velvet curtains or whatever. Yeah. So when those lit, you could actually see outside. But it is an interesting scene. It's just if you watch the fight and really pay attention, I mean, there's misses, there's stuntmen waiting for the mains to come and attack them. It just looks silly. So again, I'm referencing the Snoke surprise, and as Nick said, it was an interesting scene. All right, man, what do you got next?
So I'll stick with TLJ for my next one too, and I'll go with the TLJ opening fleet battle that you actually mentioned right before going into this. It was a moment unlike anything that we had really seen in Star Wars, in a Star Wars opening. It was a moment
the tension, dude. The tension.
Yeah, the extreme high tension, and it puts you on the edge of your seat from the moment that it starts. Like you get this, you essentially, and this is where you knew there was going to be a strong differentiation between the sequel trilogy and the original trilogy, because we knew that there was going to be a mirroring of sorts until that kind of blew itself up between the original trilogy and the sequels. And we still did get a mirroring, but just slightly differently. But like this movie, TLJ is happening 5 minutes after TFA ends. Like, and when we talk about the original trilogy, like, you have years of time between the movies. Like, there's time between these films. So like when this one comes in, you're immediately into bam, the invasion of the Resistance base is happening, and you have this massive fleet battle that is essentially kicked off by the hubris of Poe Dameron,
right,
that causes the death of essentially the entire Resistance fleet.
Yeah, I mean,
and just like everything around that, like the decision, like Poe going in and basically taking out a Star Destroyer by himself. And then the bombers, the tension that's happening with the bombers, the Paige Tico moment that you mentioned, that whole scene was just so well executed.
Tension level 9,000, and it was excellent. Now, obviously, you lose that impact after you've seen it one time, right? You're never going to see that scene again. But like you said, I mean, just watching it the first time, you know, Poe's kind of a wise ass to lead it off. But once shit starts to pick up, the bombers are coming in, they're getting fucking wasted because Poe's an idiot. And then we're just down the pages and she's falling and remotes are falling and it's going to fall again. And then she gets it and hits it and it's like blah, blah, blah. It was a really, it's probably the most tense Star Wars space battle I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was. For sure. Like even more tense than, I would say that the closest one to it is really like Death Star 2 end of ROTJ, where like you find out that holy shit, Death Star is active and it just starts blasting the capital ships that are on the rebellion side. And then you realize like, this is a race against time. Like They need to get into the superstructure and blow it up before it obliterates the entire rebellion. So, and like, that's the closest one. And I really do think that opening fleet battle in terms of the tension and what's going on and the meaning of it after it's over was up there.
Yeah, it was good
really
stuff.
Well
good
done.
stuff. So there you go, TLJ. We gave you a few positives after we kicked your dick multiple times. All right, my last top good is going to Tross. And honestly, I'm going to qualify this with I don't remember if it was Spencer that sent this to us or Jack over at X-Clue magazine. But someone has taken the I am all the Jedi scene from The Rise of Skywalker and perfectly edited in the Force Ghosts.
I need to see
Dude,
that.
It fucking kicks ass.
I need to go back and look, or you need to send it to me again.
Yeah, I mean, a good co-host and friend would. But dude, I mean, it's like when she goes, and I am all the Jedi, you see them all behind her, all stick out their arms, like throwing their fucking force power. It just, it makes the scene so much better. I mean, I already had it as a top good because I do like it. I think some of it's tied to my daughter and Rey, and I have a little girl, that type of stuff. You fucking assholes with all your shit about Rey. Little girls need fucking heroes too, you cocksuckers.
They do.
But anyways, I do like that moment where, you know, he gets his Sith arrogance and he's like, fuck you. You're just a fucking, you know, scavenger piece of shit, right? And she's like, you know, fuck you. I am all the Jedi. Crosses, melts his face, game over. But I'm telling you, and I think JJ probably wanted this in and Disney probably fucked them. We got to find the fan edit that adds all of the Force Ghosts. Jedi. It is excellent. Excellent. Dude. So that's my final top good.
And just like on Rey really quick, and I know that like people have issues with her character and how she was a Palpatine and everything that kind of went down at the end of the movie. Like, for those of you who don't know people that are like adopted or came from an adoptive family, like that is actually a very powerful moment. Like, I don't think people realize that, because if you've never like known somebody who's been adopted or known somebody who came from an abusive family and then found a real family and then takes on that moniker, takes on that name, like seeing that whole transition for Rey and how she essentially goes from the lowest of lows, knowing that she is a part of this awful legacy in the galaxy, and being the spawn or like linked to this incredibly evil person, and how that affects her, and then you see at the end of the movie that she takes on the Skywalker name, and like that is her adopted family. Like that is a very powerful moment for people who've gone through that, for people who know.
I could see that.
People who've gone through that, like, but it's just lost because people don't people don't see that scene and say like, oh man, for people who've gone through adoption or who were raised in abusive families and then found a real family, like they don't make that link. And I wouldn't at all,
because I'm still sitting here going, I don't like Rey Palpatine or Rey Skywalker. I just liked Rey. But I get what you're saying. I mean, you're making a very valid humanitarian point here. But we're also talking to a bunch of animals in the chat. True. Like they're over here like, fuck Rey. I would make my daughter like Ahsoka or Leia. Like they just don't understand it. Clearly not parents yet. So I'll let them go on that one. It's fine. But it's fine, so you angry motherfuckers.
So my final top moment from so that wasn't my top moment. I just wanted to give you a piece on Rey because we were talking about that at the end. My final top moment was from TROS 2. It's when the fleet comes in, like I've talked about this moment multiple times. It's one of my favorite moments in the entire sequel trilogy and in a lot of the Star Wars movies. So you're sitting there and you're seeing like the initial Resistance fleet comes in and they're battling all of these Star Destroyers on Exegol, and like shit just goes bad. Like there's no way that they can take out, even with a perfectly executed plan, the odds were against the Resistance fleet to start. And then when the battle starts to turn bad, like when you're caught up in this movie, like your mind just forgets that the good people can't lose. Like when you're watching a movie that you enjoy, you have this cognitive dissonance where it's like, oh my God, the heroes could lose this. And like you have that moment where Poe is sitting in his X-Wing and he's resigned to defeat. He's sitting there and he's like, we gave it our best shot, but it's over. Like we can't win. Like there's not enough of us. And then you hear Lando come over the radio, and like the way that JJ filmed this
again, Nick, though, what is the key ingredient for that scene and why it hits?
It's the emotion. It's the music.
It's John fucking Williams. I'm telling you, dude. None of us would like Star Wars the way we like Star Wars without John Williams. I mean, I'm talking, we don't even need George Lucas. John Williams is the guy that has kind of woven in the emotional memories we get. Because at least for me, in Star Wars, the stuff that gets me every time, gets me misty-eyed, is the music. Yeah. Yes, it ties to a scene. Yes, as Nick's saying, when you hear Lando over the radio and you see the fleet, that kind of adds to it. But it's when it kicks into a familiar sounding theme from Star Wars, from when it all began, the original trilogy. Yeah. I mean, those are the themes that have stuck with all of us. There's great prequel themes too. I like a few of the sequel themes, but it's those OT themes that, I mean, I'm like a Pavlov dog. All right. If I hear that shit and I'm in the right frame of mind, I'm looking at something or thinking about something, see you later.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it was just, that scene was perfectly executed. And like I said, like that's one of the scenes that gets me to tears every time. Like, even though I know it's kind of the fifth time I saw it in the theaters, the fifth time when I saw it with Taylor in the theaters, like I still cried. It still hit, like, and I knew it was coming. And like we're getting to it, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. And it happens, and boom, I still well up with tears in that moment. Just because, like you mentioned, it's the perfect execution of the emotion from the people who are in the scene, and then that music comes in, and then that's it. It's over for me. So yeah, that is my last top good. That's the top good and top bad from the sequel trilogy. And we've said it multiple times. We said it multiple times before we even got to the segment. Like, it's not perfect. It's not perfect in any way, and it could have, like, there are very easy ways to make that sequel trilogy better, but there are two movies that I can watch in that sequel trilogy that pull emotion out of me, like the prequels did not, like other movies that are not related to Star Wars cannot. And that's how I know that I enjoy a Star Wars movie is if you can elicit emotion from me by just, me watching a scene or me watching a movie, I know that it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, honestly, TLJ gave me 2 of those scenes, but only on the first viewing. It was the tension we just talked about at the opening battle, and then Finn's chicken game, right?
Yeah.
But after you see it, it loses all of the impact. Where some of the scenes we're talking about will never lose it, like Rey and her saber. Lots of, for me, Return of the Jedi when Luke comes out from under the steps and starts beating the shit out of his dad. So I'm trying to think the prequels. I don't think I have a single scene that I can say that gets me a little worked up. I really don't think there's a single one.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult. I mean, like I will say that
maybe Duel of the Fates, and it's more of like I get hyped, like we're like about to see a badass fight. But
I will say that the one scene that I think that was done well by Hayden in 3 was right before they fight on Mustafar, where he's pacing and you can just see that he's angry and he's ready to go and he's just fucking yelling at Obi and he's like, this is all your fault. Like, I'm doing everything that I can to save the Republic. Like that scene where he's kind of that conversation where Obi is cool and collected. He's like, I know what I got to do. And Anakin's just hot and he's pacing and he's just unhinged. I feel like that's a pretty good scene right before they start fighting. And like emotionally, you're like, it's not going to go well for you here. Like it doesn't like pull like emotion like it does in other movies for me, but it's like one of those scenes where it's like, shit's about to go down and like, what's coming up.
Right. And
I just think that that's a really it's one of the few scenes in, the prequel trilogy that I think is just well acted all around.
I think the best one really is when he's finally burnt up and he goes, I hate you.
Yeah.
That's about it. No, honestly, him in the Lars Homestead when he's talking about the Sand People murder, as I've said 1,000 times, that's the Anakin I wanted to see a lot more of in the prequels. Yeah. So, all right, so turn it to the peanut gallery real quick. They've been going up and down all over the place. They're getting mad. Papa does have a 9-year-old girl, so sorry about that. Liam, we know you're young. You're probably too young to even be listening to this show because of my mouth, so don't get us arrested. Apollo Ape has a 5-year-old animal. That's good. But no, Papa said one day he needs to come on the show for a friendly debate. I said, hey, the mics are always open, my friends. We were doing an interview circuit for a while, but we are the Star Wars Time show, so we just fucking quit. But yeah, anyone wants to come in on talk with us, we are here. Nick's not going anywhere, right?
No, yeah, so, we're available.
We are here. And we're not here to fight motherfuckers. We just point out idiocy, right? Or I do. Yeah. I respect people's opinions until they're stupid, okay?
And it's just like, you guys know all of our opinions. We state all of our opinions on the show multiple times. And it's
I like to tweak titties too, so sorry.
Yeah. It's not like we never say anything about the sequels being the perfect trilogy. We never say anything about the prequels being complete and utter, drivel that needs to be redone. Like, we never say anything like that. I think that all of our criticisms for both trilogies are very clear and very concise. And I think it's hard to be argued. Like, it is inarguable that the prequel trilogy is poorly acted. Like, and that's that.
I would even think the cast would say that on record. Yeah. Now they'd say, yeah, it was tough. I mean, we kind of hinted as much when Ewan was talking. It's like, hey, this is going to be way better than working on the prequels because I'm not going to have to just pretend I'm staring at green shit anymore.
Yeah, like literally. And then like you can even go through and watch other performances by the exact same actors. And you can see like, man, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the difficulty in reading the room.
Yo, Hayden was getting Golden Globe nods before the prequels. After the prequels, he did Jumper and died.
Yeah, and that was it. Like his career literally fell
It's
off
over. Like all he does now is straight to fucking DVD.
Yeah, so
it's a shame. Like I like the guy, I really do. I like Hayden Christensen. He's one of my favorite Barbie dolls. Like my 1/6 scale Hayden Anakin is a thing of beauty, if you can say that about a man Barbie.
And I mean, like, if your arguments are going to be like, oh, well, they have plot armor, or, well, nothing bad can ever happen to this character because Disney doesn't want it. Like, if your arguments are going to be Disney this, plot armor that, then those aren't real arguments, right? Because you're not putting any substance behind it.
I'm all up for like real debates, not just the knuckle dragger easy stuff, like the low hanging fruit. You know, Kathleen. Like, okay, well, what does that mean? Yeah,
it's like,
well, say like me. Do I think Kathleen has failed? Yes. Is it because she's a woman? No. It's because she was allowed to make really stupid decisions and people weren't checking it or whatever. And it led to a wonky ass trilogy that has fucked up Disney's plans for Star Wars. So yes, I do think she fucked up, but it's not because she's a girl, which is where some of the other crowd goes. I'm not saying our peanut gallery. I'm saying some of the knuckle draggers out there.
Yeah. And I mean, like, in terms of plot armor and in terms of all of this other stuff that people bring up, let's just all remember that we are talking about science fiction and we are throwing out opinions. Nothing we're really saying is factual, right? Like when I say I like this scene, it's not a fact. It is an opinion. But we live in a world now where those don't even exist anymore. People have their own facts contrary to real ones. So that's all we're saying. We're all about, like, I think people think we're crazy here. Triple P's not going to get Ben Shapiro. Who likes Ben Shapiro in this chat? Liam, how do you even know about that guy? I mean, isn't he like some right-wing nut job? These debates. Yeah. I don't know. Ben Shapiro is just he's just like a white supremacist who just sounds eloquent.
That's what I mean. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what are you guys doing in this chat? All right. I'm going away from the chat because they're clearly drinking.
It's all off the rails now. Oh, yeah. So let's get into the rest of the fan segment.
Let's go ahead and just get into that fan segment. Greggy Boy showed up, so we are ready to rock. Before we get into the top 5, though, I exposed one of the shots. Let me go ahead and switch up because we have...
Oh, no. Can't see the top 5.
We have some updating to do here with our questions to the fans. Here we go. You want to start with the Force battle?
Let's start with the Force battle, right, and then we'll break the we'll reveal the vote for the fan name. So first,
go ahead and kick this off. I got to take a leak, so you go ahead and introduce round 1 here.
Yeah. So first off, we got round 1 of the bracket. That was Chewbacca versus Lando Calrissian, and that kind of went off as expected. In fact, I think it was a little bit too kind to Lando in these votes, but the final tally here was 86% Chewbacca, 14% Lando Calrissian, and I can give you a breakdown of the votes themselves here in a moment. But your number 1 seed versus your number 16 seed is always going to be a little bit skewed, so no surprise there. Let's see. I'm getting to the notable voters for these here. So C voters, so our Lando voters. Let's get some call outs here. Figure Hertz, Rust Belt Collector, Toy Box Photography. Guys, we got Lando Calrissian votes from these folks, from these prominent members of the Star Wars Time community. I will call you a community until I reveal the winner of the vote. I saw some people in the chat that were like, they're he could outsmart him. Lando could be do some trickery and somehow win this battle. I don't know if he could do enough trickery to beat Chewbacca in a battle. So that is that's my 2 cents on that one. And then our next.
Hey, hold on, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm back. I'm back. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
So Chewie Lando 86%.
I need to start wearing a diaper here. Yeah. So the people that voted Lando, I'm guessing, were stoned. They really like gambling or something, because I've never seen Lando enact any sort of plan or smarts or tricks or anything. Like, I mean, I guess
figure Hertz, Rust Belt Collector, and Toy Box Photography were our notable Lando voters. Questionable.
Oh, well. Hey, we're always going to have a few trolls within these, but hey, if that's what they felt, then have at it. But I don't see. I think we've already deemed Chewie the winner of the whole bracket at this point. So
it could be. I mean, there's some good matchups later on, but I mean, it was total votes 97-16 in favor of Chewie. So that was a pretty easy win there. And then the second round of the battle, of course, it never goes well for our sequel trilogy friends. It was Boba Fett versus Finn, and it was a 93% to 7% vote for Boba, 160 votes to 12 for Finn. The 12 Finn voters, I'm not going to call all of them out, but we got Sir Dork in there. We got Scion.
Yeah.
We got Action Figure Snaps.
Yeah.
And, that's our prominent figure Hertz. So some of our prominent members on there, and then 160 votes for Boba. You can probably Papa was in there, Mr. Stormtrooper Davis, a lot of the basically the rest.
I guess this is the right vote. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I didn't even like Boba at 8. He should have been like a 15 or 16 in my opinion, but
to me, I think that this fight's actually closer than what you would probably see in the vote. Yeah. Because
I mean, the one guy has the fucking Force.
Yeah,
I know we kind of took that off the table, but
like, even if you take out his Force ability, which kind of came in way at the end, like, and just look at him, like he fought Captain Phasma to essentially a stalemate. And Captain Phasma is a trained First Order officer who, is known for brutality. So like, he fought her to a stalemate. He fought Kylo Ren, even though he was in a disabled state at that time after taking that shot from Chewie.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Like he's pretty good. I mean, like, he fucking fought the traitor stormtrooper. Like, the only thing that we've seen Boba Fett do in canon is not much, dude. It was mostly when he was a kid in the Clone Wars series, and then TV wise, like, I mean,
that's what I mean. But I mean, in this chat, Boba's like a god. So I mean,
Boba Fett is a god.
I never get it. I mean, it just literally, when I was just watching Return of the Jedi again, I mean, you could literally play the Benny Hill music during Boba Fett's sequence. It is that ridiculous. As soon as he lands on the skiff, see a gun, he then lassos Luke. Luke cuts it so hard that he trips Boba onto his face. Then he stands up, and that's when he gets his jetpack whacked by a blind person. That is a McClunky.
Yeah, I mean, so that is, I feel like our sequel trilogy, people are never really going to get love through the SWT fan base, not until 10 years from now, when the next Star Wars trilogy
when there's more Star Wars to hate on,
and they hate that, and then they can go back and say, you know what, man, the sequel trilogy, that was where it was at.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. Well, there we go. The battle of the. Do you have an official name for this one, or is it just battle of the non-Force users? I don't have one
yet. Maybe if somebody can throw out some names in the chat, maybe I can use, because I've just been
the battle of the basics.
That's a good one. Battle of the Basics. I like that.
All right, so what do we got? Are you going to release 2 more battles this week then?
Two more, at least 2 more. I may do more. So more battles coming this week. We're going to work through the bracket just like we did the last one. But so far, we're going to have our next confirmed matchup is going to be actually our first round 2 matchup is going to be Chewie versus Boba Fett.
Oh, please, people, don't do this to me here.
Don't just explode Matt's brain.
I'll delete the tournament if Boba Fett beats Chewbacca. It's done.
Like So that's the next upcoming round 2 battle, but we have a lot of round 1 to finish before we get there. So now it is time to reveal the official reveal of the Star Wars Time
There you go.
Fandom moniker.
And for those of you that are unhappy with it, well, I guess you should learn to vote.
Yes, this is a good.
The picks are in.
lesson.
The final 2, you guys would remember last week we left with Dewanawangas, the uncivilized, the Fandalorians, and the assholes. That got limited to Fandalorians and assholes.
Yes.
And now, without further ado, you guys picked by a margin of at least the one I'm seeing, 52-48. The Fandalorians.
The Fandalorians. So all of you are now Fandalorians. You're
those in the live chat, they're still their own little special group.
Yeah. They're like the
Fandalorians / assholes is what they are.
But so the way that this broke down was the initial, like, people, like, you know, people that are in the chat here will probably think that it was, you know, assholes was going to win by a large margin. But even in the 4-way vote, the final vote came down to Fandalorians had 31 total, assholes had 33 total, and then there was about 30 to 40 votes that were split between Uncivilized and Dewanawangas. So I was telling Matt as this was breaking down, like, it's going to come down to however the undecided voters vote in the top 2. And the way that it went was you had 70 for Fandalorian, 64 for assholes. So a majority or more of the undecided voters after the 2 were cut went towards Fandalorians than they did assholes. So, I mean,
they're saying here that they're in the chat where Klondike is saying that Doomcock rigged the vote.
I see that.
That's right. He heard all the shit I was talking today, so he doom-cocked our faces.
And look at that. Spencer voted on 4 accounts for assholes, and it's still lost.
You guys want to hear something funny? Like how stupid I am? When it was still to the 4, and Nick's like, yo, these 2 are running away. It was so far, Nick, that I could have voted for the other one. It would have made a dent, right? So my idea was like, okay, I'll vote at least for the one that I like out of the 2. I still ended up voting for the ones that weren't going to go anywhere. Like I threw my votes away essentially. I wanted Dewanawangas. I mean, I think that's fucking great. I was having a blast. I think it was Friday night talking with Bossajan in here. I mean, this is the motherfucker that was too lazy to even submit the McClunkies for the name, and I thought that was excellent, but he fucked up.
Yeah.
But no, Dewanawangas, I mean, fantastic. Bib delivers it so well in the movie. I was having dreams of maybe getting my head tails and just saying it on mic over and over and over again. But we're left with Fandalorians. It's a little PC for me, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, that's how votes work. So, like, this is the full breakdown of the 4-way vote. It was 33 votes for assholes, 31 votes for Fandalorians, 11 votes for uncivilized, 15 votes for Dewanawangas. I can't see. I mean, like, I can see who voted for each one, but the way it shows on the app, depending on how long somebody's name is, it won't show it. But then, in terms of the breakdown for Fandalorians versus assholes, let's give the breakdown. Let's see who. Intergalactic Raptor, Fandalorians. Galactic Photography 66, Fandalorians. Dad Fett, Fandalorians. Lego Star Wars Tong, Fandalorians. Haywood Pop, Fandalorians.
Oh, I snuck one in there. Eat it.
Swit Picks, Fandalorians. Toy Box Photography, Fandalorians.
I fucking cheated.
Corona 4, Fandalorian.
It was a mail-in ballot, Nick. So it's illegal. Delete it, right? Because mail-in voting is illegal.
Liam, Fandalorians. Augusto, Fandalorians.
And Liam's in chat right now saying, "Hey, we can always switch it up later." These motherfuckers. That's why I love that Nick calls people out for their vote. I love it.
You're gonna get called out.
You can't hide behind your keyboards here.
John Forney Fandalorians, Russ Bell Fandalorians. So like those are some of our notable Fandalorian voters, plus a bunch of other people who probably listen on the podcast. I don't want to call out. I'm just calling out people who are vocal in our chat and our comments as the voters.
That's
people
funny.
Who voted for assholes. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through assholes and see if all of the assholes in the chat actually voted.
Well, anyone in this chat by default is an asshole. So we already know it's not true because Liam voted for Fandalorians.
Yeah. Action Figure Snaps voted for assholes. Nico Tronus, assholes. The Sith Lord Lego, assholes. Kingdom of Weird, assholes. Where's
see. Greg? Greg had all his songs. ASSHOLE. I'm an asshole. Right? I mean, we're getting hit with so much propaganda this weekend.
So here we go. Klondike, his vote was in. Sir Dork voted for assholes.
Hey, they want to know your vote, Nick. Would you vote?
I didn't vote.
What would you have voted?
What would I have voted? I would have voted for Fandalorians. Drew Toys, Spencer, and then I could see fucking Spencer's other account here.
He's got Baron's got burner accounts for our stupid votes. I like it.
Wild Wing was assholes. Star Wars Toy 73. And then Greg is in here too. Cryo, Matt Jessup, Captain Ordo, Tones. Fucking Papa didn't even vote. So there we go. That's the breakdown. So
right now, Papa, at this very moment, I guarantee you, has that Snowspeeder out and he's probably weathering it and getting it ready to go out into his trench diorama.
Yeah,
I can feel it. Like I have a feeling the Force is giving it to me right now. Papa is going to have something with the Snowspeeder by this Friday.
I can't wait to see it too, because I can only imagine how that shit's going to be, looking in his trench and his awesome little backyard setup. So I'm looking forward to it. But that's it, guys. It's Fandalorians. And look, I like it because you can shorten it. You could say Fandos.
Yeah, I like the Fandos, honestly. I can get behind Fandos.
So, but that's how voting works, people. For the young crowd out there, Liam, I don't know if you're old enough to vote.
No way,
That's how voting works. When you go out and you vote and somebody wins all the votes, well, not in America because they got the electoral college.
You know what? I'm going to institute the SWTS EC. And I'm giving all of the EC's votes to Dewanawangas. So fuck everybody. you lose all your votes. I just electoral colleged your asses.
Yeah. So the electoral college has now said that we're the Dewanawangas. But so Liam's not even old enough to vote yet. But that's how it works, people.
Yeah, he can't vote.
You got to come to the polls, and then that's it. So Fandalorians is the winner. Maybe, eventually we'll have to see.
Don't worry. There's a good chance that I'm still going to call most of you assholes.
I mean, that's just because that's what you are. You're just assholes.
So, I mean, if you want me to keep calling you that, have at it. But, it's the Fandos.
But we'll see. I mean, we'll see if we can somehow incorporate Fandalorians into some of the things we do in the future.
Yeah, we had the Fando round table. We get on here and start flinging poo at each other about our differences of opinions in Star Wars movies. First guess, Papa Palpatine.
But I will say, Bostajan's out here saying this is as rigged as the 2016 election. You saw who rigged it. Spencer voted 4 times for one for the loser. So that's the rigging right there.
Hey, Bostajan, just fucking submit the proper name next time, right?
If you would have,
I'm pretty sure McClunky's would at least made it to the Final Four.
It definitely would have. So,
you motherfuckers.
What are the states in the SWTS nation or the SWTS country?
I unfortunately have to live in Ohio, which is one of the shittiest states in the union. Just it's boring, blah, and bleh. It's just Farm Belt Midwest, blah.
If we're going by where we actually live, I live in Texas. But if this is our own country that we're building, we can start to name the states whatever we want to.
Exactly.
So, hey man, that's how it breaks down. Fandalorians,
the United States of Fandaloria.
Yeah, like maybe what we'll do is once if we eventually do get our merch machine up and running, we can have like a T-shirt that'll have like SWTS on the front.
Voted assholes.
Yeah. Like what we'll do is we'll put Fandalorians in big letters on the back, but like right here on the sleeve in tiny letters, we'll put assholes.
I'm a true
for
asshole.
All of those out there who are really.
I'm a true asshole like that.
Yeah. But I do like Fandalorians. I like Fandos. There's a lot of fun you can have. I wasn't thinking
that way. Fandos has grown on me more than Fandalorians, but I like it.
So, and then we can say that we are a clan of many.
There you go. There you go.
We are a clan of many, just like how Mando and the baby are a clan of two. We are a clan of many, and we hope that our clan continues to grow. So, appreciate everybody going out and voting on the polls, on the names.
They have a hashtag for themselves. Hashtag assholes for life.
There we go.
Hey Greg, Nick's not allowed to promise gear anymore. I took him to the woodshed on that because of you. Because of people like you, Nick's no longer allowed to promise milestones.
That's it. See, that's it. All of you guys have now made it to where
I'm literally at this point, I am dragging my feet just because of all you idiots. So keep at
every
it.
Time,
keep the hat chats going, or the hat chants. It's just going to take longer and longer.
I was going to say, every time a hat message comes through to us, it just
I mean, at this point, that's just going to be our new running thing, is that we're supposedly going to get hats when we're at 5,000. So when we hit 10,000, still don't have hats. It'll be legendary at that point. Like, it'll be a fan legend that they can tell the new fans. I can remember back at 5,000 when we thought we were getting hats.
What I still haven't say is that I meant 5,000 on YouTube, and we're not even close. We only got like 1,100 on YouTube. So
yeah, there you go. He didn't mean Instagram. Damn it, he said YouTube.
Yeah, go back and listen to the tape.
Yeah, if we got 5,000 on YouTube within like a month, I would make the hats myself.
Yeah,
literally.
But,
I would harvest the cotton. I would stitch it. I'd sew it. Everything.
I'd be happy though if once we do get the hats up and going, if we could get like Fandos or like Fandalorians and little letters right on the side, I think that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. I know that the hat thing is fucking stick up a lot of people's asses, but
no, I mean really, like I said, at this point, it's become a legend within the show itself. So I'm just going to keep it going.
We'll get them. And I will say that for those of you who don't live in America, America's basically turned back into ground zero for COVID. Right. Like this shit has
I'm pretty sure the EU just banned the entire fucking country.
It did. Like you can't even, and that's another unfortunate thing is that Taylor's parents live in Italy, and like she was planning to go back at a certain time, but Italy has literally closed its borders to Americans.
I remember at one point in time, Italy was the big clusterfuck, and then we wanted to play, and we're like, yeah, we did it. We're number one again, making America great. Yes, winning.
Oh man, look at this. Now Liam's putting up excuses. He's like, my parents watch my social media like a hawk and made me vote for Fandom.
We don't want to poke him too much. He is a minor still. Like, I'm serious. I'm gonna be in fucking jail. Yeah, like he's clicking on these videos. I think I have age restrictions on. I'm gonna get arrested.
There we go. So,
all right. So that was fun, my friends. You Fando assholes. Yep. But it's about that time. It is time of the show to honor the Fandos, the assholes, the Mandos, the Daywana-Wangas, whatever you want to call them. It is time for the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. And guess what? It is a +1 type of show. So yes,
it is a +1.
I've got mine to talk about after Nick lays down his top 5. Remember, if you want to get involved in this little social party, you have to use, or you don't have to. We appreciate it if you do, because the big accounts never will. We appreciate the Papa P's. Be like him. Be like Super Scoundrel. Be like everyone in the peanut gallery, and use hashtag Star Wars Time Show and tag at Star Wars Time Show on Instagram with your Star Wars shots. Hell, be like Greg or Liam or some other people and tag us in all of your shots. We get Indiana Jones from Liam. We get Marvel from Greg, DC from Greg. You never know. It doesn't matter as long as you're using the hashtag. One of our 2 dumbasses will look at it. I line them up throughout the week, and then Nick settles on his 5 favorites for the show. And that is where we are at. Nick, begin.
begin. The first up for the top 5 this week is...
I love this.
I think it's a super fucking fun shot. This is from @Corona4 on IG. Has been in the top 5 before, and it's with creative little shots like this. So what we have is Farmer Palpatine out here, and he's out here and he's feeding his little porgs. He's feeding his little contingent of porgs on his farm. And dude, the best thing about this shot to me is, one, like, Palpatine looks genuinely happy in this shot. If you look at his face, even though it's the fucking old, wrinkled, angry Palp face, he's got a smile on his face. He's happy to be out here on his farm. You can see the farmhouse in the background, all the greenery, and just the little porgs all around there eating up their little food that happy little Palps out here throwing out to him. I just thought that this was such a creative, cool shot.
No, this was epic, and I don't know if Nate listens to the show. He always... whenever we feature him, puts up, listen to these two guys, they're great. Hopefully he's listening. But yeah, @Corona4, I wonder if he's been targeted with harassment because of his name and all these idiots over here, right? At least his name isn't 5G.
Oh my God.
But anyways, yeah, this, as I said, is a creative gem. You got the little porgies out there representing the little, chickens or hens, and somehow he gets angry, curmudgeon, always pissed off at the world, Palpatine, to, as Nick said, look genuinely happy, carefree, to be out on the farm tending to his flock. It is a digi shot. I did look at it. I think he shared a brief BTS. So, you got the farm back there in the digital background, and everything in the foreground is legit. The floor, the dirt, the bird seed, whatever you want to call it, and of course the porgs. So yeah, I loved it, man. I mean, my top one is similar in that it's kind of a fun comedic type of shot. So yeah, we're kind of feeling that mantra this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's you need something to lighten the week up a little bit. So it was really cool to see this shot from Corona4 come across the feed. Awesome job. Really well thought out. Just a fun concept.
It is. Now you play. How did he get him to smile? Maybe one of the face sculpts is just naturally that way, or I don't know if he did some. I think
you have a shot like that shot, that really good portrait shot you took of Palpatine. It was like last year, I think.
Yeah, that was Hot Toys Palpatine, though. I mean, that's fucking $300 Palpatine versus $30 Palpatine.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Corona. If you're listening, Nate, if you're out there, let us know how you get it. Like, is this just like a head sculpt for this?
It might be. It might be. 'Cause, it's like that smile he gives when he sees Luke and Vader cross sabers. Like, yes, finally they're doing it. Like that type of demented joy.
Yeah. Even like when Anakin kneels down in front of him in episode 3, he puts on like that smile. Good. Yeah.
A clan of many thunder cunts.
Oh my God. Who is that?
Who do you think, man? Boss Jada, I mean, he's up there with my mouth in terms of just being ridiculous.
I mean, the people from down under are definitely a little bit more foul-mouthed than we are.
What is a thunder cunt? I like it, and I'm going to start using it.
Oof, man, that's going to give us the explicit rating on fucking on all of our
thunder
podcast
cunt.
platforms.
I'm going to have to look that up. Hopefully, it's not something bad, and I keep saying it. I'm going to get fired, but I
You're
like
gonna get fired, all right.
Thunder cunt.
You better watch it, bro. Good stuff @Corona4.
Yeah, @Corona4. Great follow. He does a lot of the mythic legions or legends type of orcs and ogre type of shots in addition to Star Wars.
Good stuff. So next up we have.
Oh yeah, he's in the chat.
One of our favorites here. This is @SuperScoundrel Devin. I mean, this is just like when I saw that there were two. Like, we may see something similar to this a little bit farther down, but like this fucking Mandalorian from Devin is just so badass that like when I saw it, I was like, holy fuck. And the fact that he's able to like seamlessly incorporate real ass mountains in the background and you can't even tell that like, hey, these are real, these aren't animated, is just like even more impressive. So like Devin's work on this Mandalorian is just mind-blowingly good. Like Devin always gets incredible detail into his work, but like the weathering on the armor, the reflection within the mask of the Mandalorian, everything is just so perfectly done here. Like, it blows my fucking mind. It's incredible.
It's fantastic. And I don't know if you know this, but the other one you threw in here, this was actually a team up project they did. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay, so this was, I don't know if Super Scoundrel went to the other artists we're going to talk about soon or what, but they actually linked up and created this character in their own styles. So Super Scoundrel did his vector art where, was it like Massey or, we'll get to it, but he did his version of this Mandalorian in his unique style. And yeah, it's a fantastic union of Star Wars fan art. Kind of like, hey, this is what I do with my art. What do you do with your art? And then here we go. They each create something that made it into the top 5 in the same week.
Yeah, dude, it's an incredible, not knowing that they were both linked is really cool, because I just saw both of them and I was like, damn, dude. Like,
Super Scoundrel essentially exposed me and now you to another artist that we're going to follow, and hopefully he tags. I don't know if we can get Devin to beat him up and give him a black eye to remind him to tag all the time, so I don't get on here and whine like a little baby. But yeah, it was a team up project, and I think it turned out a-okay. You gotta love Devin's, the vector art style, the shine it always has, and like I said, it feels like it should be printed on metal.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just so fucking cool. So at super_scoundrel on Instagram, if you guys aren't following him by now and you've been listening to this show for any amount of time, shame on you. If you're new to the show,
it's another account where he shares stuff and it's always featureable. So sometimes it's a Sophie's choice. Sometimes it's all right, I'm going to put it in the feature folder and we'll get to it down the road. Speaking of which, my friends, the feature folder is getting out of control. It's about 150 right now.
There we go.
I'm still only doing 12 features a day. I don't know if I have it in me to feature more, because actually...
Yeah, I don't know if we should go over that.
It's just, dude, I mean, it literally eats up an hour of my day. It's fine. I'm looking at badass Star Wars fan art, but it's still time. I've got a little kid. I've got a job, this, that, and the other thing. It's just, It's existing Star Wars time fans that keep using the tag and are getting better at the hobby, but there's also, you can tell, new people that are either getting exposed through people like Super Scoundrel, those that throw us up in their stories saying, hey, idiots, use this tag. It's getting nuts. So keep on tagging my friends. Trust me. I would say everyone in our live chat right now probably has a shot in the feature folder that is being queued up to be shared at some point. If you really want my process, I go through the new tags and hashtags first. I will grab a link of either a brand new account or from an account that I haven't seen before, or if the shot is just ridiculous, that one is getting featured first. From there, I then go back to the feature folder and I start with the most recent shot. I'll release 5 of the most recent, as in the oldest in terms of date. Then from there, I just start scrolling through like it's a fucking, close my eyes and stick a hand on a square. That's who goes next. So there really is no formula outside of, if I see it initially and it blows my socks off, it may get shared right away. Otherwise, it's going into the feature folder, and you're either going to get shared chronologically in reverse order or through the random, I'm just going to pick a square and feature it type of setup. So there you go. That's the magic.
That's the whole process, and you know it. And then, like, it's hard. Like, I know I say it all the time, but it's hard to pick 5. I mean, Matt's sharing 12 shots a day, and he's doing it 7 days a week. So do your math there. What is that? That's 84 shots or something like that. I dedicate a
good part of my week to you motherfuckers. On top of the show day, we're live on the show for 2 or 3 hours, but that doesn't account for the hour or so of prepping our shitty material, this, that, and the other thing. So I love Star Wars. I love you fans. Now just show it to me in return. Lots of it. Tell me I'm special. Tell me I'm going to be as popular as a Doomcock one day. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we can only hope.
I want to reach the heights of Doomcock now that I've found out about him. My goal is to be Doomcock 2, the sequel.
Yeah, the ruler, the eventual ruler of the universe, not just the world.
Exactly.
So.
Lord Doomcock. Right. I will be Lord Doomcock. Anyways, back to the real artist at Super Scoundrel. Keep it up, buddy. Yes, I have your Shore Troopers in the queue.
Beautiful. Next up, we got an absolutely awesome shot by SWTS at SWTS on Instagram. And really, what's cool about this shot is not only is it a great shot of General Kenobi flanked by some of the more notable clones, but it's just like, it's so colorful. And when you think of clones in your head, if you're not too familiar with like the Clone Wars TV series or anything like that, then like you don't think of them as a colorful bunch of people. Like you're like clones that wear white armor and that's about it. They're very uniform and straightforward. But if you look at all of the different colors for all of the different units and all the different types of clone troopers that are shown here in SWTS' shot, it really like puts into perspective how unique each one of these soldiers are. And that was the whole beauty of the Clone Wars, is like you took what was essentially thought of as a mindless group of drones with stormtroopers and with the Phase 1 clones from the movies, and they gave them personalities in a way that you would have never imagined before. And I think that with this simple shot, SWTS is really able to give you an appreciation for all the different types of troopers that they are in the
yeah, I mean, dude,
universe.
Just in terms of staging, I don't know if he has all these or if he is doing some layering here. But even if he did layer, I mean, look at the effort that would have went into setting up this shot. Let's say he did have all these fucking clones. Getting these dickheads to stand up right next to each other is not easy. It is not fucking easy. And even layering them, because he'd have to plan it. All right, I'm going to put the yellow one here, take a shot, and then move the yellow one this way and take a shot, and repeat for blue, green, red, so on and so forth. So the setup to this shot is insane. And I believe he's reusing a dio he built out of Space Walls to recreate the bounty hunter scene from Empire. So he actually has like that little pit area that allows for the other clones to be on a lower level than the plane that Obi and the commanders are on. Yeah, it really is. It's just the setup to me is the most impressive. This is one that no, like for me, patience, no way. Could you imagine like the story I told last week? Like if I had this all set up, finally, it was lit the way I want. I had it in the viewfinder of my camera, and then either a cat or one of the figures falls over and dominoes the entire fucking thing.
Oh, dude, you wouldn't have just like punched a hole in your dead.
That one would have been the stroke. Yeah, that would have been the stroke that finally does me in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the level of effort put into this setup is impressive. And I mean, just even like the posing on Kenobi is so good. Like his head tilted down, like surveying the troops, the helmet under his arm, like the way that he's got his left arm kind of cocked up on his hip. I mean, it's just an all around excellent job of the setup, of the execution of the shot. Just really well done. At SWTPics on Instagram, 2 T's on SWT. So yeah, beautiful job. Well done, sir. Next up is the follow-up shot, is the follow-up piece of art from Devin's that we showed up first. And this is at Masso Art on Instagram, MASSOART, right. First time in the top 5.
This was the team up between the two. I don't know if they're like, yo, let's just fucking pick a Mandalorian and you riff and I riff, or if Masso saw Devin's and then came up with his take. Either way, it's fucking badass. I mean, this guy's got a red lightsaber and the dark saber.
This looks like something that would be like the art style of the Gennady Clone Wars. Like if you think back like to the Gennady art style, I see this and I'm like, man, this could really kind of fit in with that Gennady Tartakovsky art style from the old Clone Wars. And I love it. I love the way that like he took, like you said, it's not the same one, because you can look on the, like he gave cool stylistic stuff to the armor. So he's got like a lot of like awesome stylized etchings on his armor.
Oh, he actually joined the chat here. We got Masso Art in the chat. He came just at the right time. I'm guessing Devin tipped him off. Who knows?
There we go. But,
thanks for joining up, man. This is awesome looking art here as we've been sitting here essentially masturbating over it of all of its excellent qualities. But yeah, I mean, this I'd like to see an action figure of this dude they cooked up, which we were kind of talking about. We might get a Mandalorian Black Series. Just depends what version.
Yeah, I almost think that this is Masso's take on what Maul's Mandalorian armor would look like, because he's whipping Maul's saber. Like his saber that he's got in the back is the Maul hilt style. And he's got the dark saber, like you mentioned. So I feel like this is Masso saying, like, if we ever saw Maul in his Mandalorian armor, this is what it would be.
That's even better. I think you're dead right. I don't know. I mean, they're on a little bit of delay. Maybe he'll chime in, but you may be spot on, or it's just, them making more of an homage to their leader. But either way, that detail on the armor, good pickup there, dude. That is fucking badass. That
matches like his Sith tattoos and everything.
Oh yeah,
too.
Totally.
I mean, so like that's where my mind goes again. Like, I'm not the artist. I don't know what the interpretation was.
Yeah, remember last week we decided on it. Like, if we can't think of the proper term, we just say he arted the shit out of it.
Yeah, it fucking arted the hell out of this one. Both Devin and Masso really fucking killed it.
Hopefully they do a few more team ups, and again, Masso keep tagging us, buddy. # Star Wars Time Show, tag at Star Wars Time Show on IG. We definitely want to see more of your Star Wars pieces.
Yeah, so in the chat says Masso says that we nailed it. That's exactly what he was going for. Was Maul, like, this is what Maul would be in his armor. So fucking excellent job. I mean, just so well executed.
That's face tattoo worthy. I would slap that on my face. I have multiple super scoundrels on my face at this point in time as well, and some on the back, and maybe my tits. I can't remember. I've been placing super scoundrel art all over my body and my head for really since we ever found them.
So yeah, I mean, Devin, what you need to do is get yourself learn how to tattoo, get yourself on Tattoo Alley at the next Star Wars celebration. And then when we go, you can tattoo Matt with your own original artwork.
Yeah, I'll be your guinea pig. It'll come out and be like all crooked lines and shit.
Hey, man, you never know.
But I'll have an original super scoundrel on the back or the face somewhere.
There we go. So at Masso Art, MASSOART on Instagram. Beautiful work. Absolutely excellent job. So next up in our top 5, and this is going to be the last of the top 5 before we get to the Matt top 1, is a shot from Action Figure Showroom at actionfigure.showroom on Instagram. And it's a really cool kind of, quad shot. It's a gathering of the original trilogy crew. In the Hoth hallway, we see Luke, we see Leia, we see Han, we see Chewbacca in the background. I just thought it was a really cool shot that like puts all of our original trilogy favorites together in Hoth, in their Hoth gear.
This is Nick. I don't know if you know, this is actually a recreation of a promo image from late 70s, 80 itself of the cast.
So this is like leading up to like the release of ESB. This was kind of like...
I'll just go to his account because he actually tagged the picture next to it. Let me pull it up here so everyone can see. Here we go. So there's a shot, and then it's actually based on a promo shot where all the actors were dressed up and doing a pose for somebody.
Yeah, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, so I mean that's one of the reasons I picked it. Is a great recreation, but they look good. I mean, all the figures look good. It looks like he swapped I think that's the Return of the Jedi, the new Return of the Jedi Luke head onto the old Hoth Luke body, and then you got current heads and sculpts for Han, Leia, and Chewie. So.
Dude, he really nailed the poses too. If you look at he nailed the poses with the guns and everything for all of the figures.
I just like how disinterested Carrie and Harrison look in the actual shot.
Yeah, they're like, fine, we're gonna take this picture.
Look, Carrie's like, hold on, did you take the picture yet? I'm getting set up. Harrison's like, fuck. Why didn't they kill this character in the first one? And then you got Mark, he's all like, shit, I was just in a crazy ass car accident. I'm lucky to be alive, still making movies. My face wasn't too fucked up. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So fun shot, fun setup from Action Figure Showroom on Instagram. Well done. And that brings us out of the top 5 and into Matt's top 1. So take it away.
Yeah, my top 1 this week is a shot that a lot of you probably have seen. It's from my buddy Jason B. Michael. He's, again, someone that for some reason came to me over a year ago and asked for advice. I think he was probably high on drugs, because as you will see throughout his portfolio, his toy photography game has gotten exceptionally strong in just a year's time. And this shot right here is, he's got a Gamorrean guard running with a carrot. You have a Muppet chicken in front of him, a porg behind them. Then you've got the Swedish chef from the Muppets behind him, like the horsey, that guy, chasing him down, wanting to, essentially cut him up, execute him to eat. It's a fun shot. And the reason I picked it for the top 1 is it just looks excellent. It's funny as hell. But Jason's had this shot lifted on so many other platforms at this point that I just wanted to once again give him the recognition for the idea. He was posting his story all week long last week. I mean, sites on Facebook copping the shot, no credit. Other people on Twitter, TikTok, this, that, and the other thing. Be like us. If you're going to fucking share someone's work because you like it, only share it if you can credit the person and if they're okay with their work being shared. I look at everyone's fucking bio if they're new when I go to share a shot on Star Wars Time Show. I look for any don't post or post with credit, this, that, and the other thing. And I'll even look if they're saying, hey, ask me to post. I do all this because of the 10 plus years I spent in online media for game shit, getting sued one time for using a picture that I didn't ask permission for. Luckily, it was an Instagram embed and I didn't get in trouble, but I learned my lesson. You don't fucking steal people's art. You don't share people's art unless you can give them credit. So that is one of the main reasons I'm talking about this Jason B. Michael, outside of it just looking fucking awesome. And awesome stuff typically does get stolen by pieces of shit. So the moral of the story here is Jason B. Michael is excellent at toy photography. He's gotten really good at posing and just creating scenes. And point number 2 is there's a lot of fucking dickheads out there that don't quite understand art, how to share art, and how to provide proper credit or attribution. And the best part is, some of these people, when the artists go after them and say, hey man, I'm glad you like it, could you just credit it? The motherfuckers start yelling at the artists. And that's what really gets my balls in a bunch. It's like, really? You're going to steal the shit, not credit it. Then when the artist and his army of friends come to tell you that you suck, you're going to then blame it on the artist and say they're fucking stupid?
Yeah, that's insane to me. Like, I don't understand that mindset. I don't understand that thought process in any way. And then, like, I know that some people are even like, well, I'm giving you a boost because I have more followers than you. It's like, you're not giving me shit if you don't credit me.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Like,
they're assholes. They are fucking lazy assholes. There's every single day I'm an explorer and I see shit and I'm like, that's badass, but it's some dickhead Instagram account sharing it, no credit. I know they didn't do it. If you look at their profile, I mean, their art, basically they can do every fucking style of art on the planet. So I know that they're just someone that's stealing shots and uploading them as their own. Yes, we feature shit on our account, but I believe we do it the right way. We credit. I mean, sometimes it's the first fucking thing you see. I don't even type like my own caption. I essentially say, hey, this shot looks great from this person. That's how you fucking do it. So Jason B. Michael, as we say here, we speak your name. We appreciate your art. And yes, I'm still planning on mailing my Gomez head up to Canada so you can make it better. Mm-hmm. I just got to get off my lazy ass and figure out how much it's going to cost.
There we go.
All right. So there you go. There's my top 1. Don't be a douchebag. All right. That's all I can say. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave everyone with that. Don't be a douchebag in life.
That's a good life lesson. Yeah, don't be a douchebag. So that's the end of the top 5. That's the end of the top 1. And that's the end of the show, everybody.
Yeah, we're getting.
And that brings us to the dance.
That's right. It's dance time. We're getting some other people in here in the chat and talking about stolen work. We get it. We've all probably had something stolen. But it's time. I'm flapping my wings. You see me going, Nick? I'm taking off because it is time for the Star Wars Time Show dance. And that dance means all of you need to get your happy asses over to StarWarsTime.net right now. Right now. Do it. Give us some cheap clicks. We need it. And while you're there, click on all of our shitty ads that Google puts on there. Just kidding. We make zero money from this endeavor. We actually lose money. I can confirm that. I operate in the red running Star Wars Time Show, which just confirms I'm an asshole, but an asshole that you should listen to with my partner, asshole, Nick. And you can do that by going to StarWarsTime.net. Get yourself subscribed to the podcast platform of your choice, either hitting the link in the top right or using the handy dandy sidebar on your right. With all the platforms, you see them. They're there. They want you. Spotify wants you. Pandora wants you. iHeart wants you. Hey, if you're a tech head, we even have the RSS feed for you to run through one of your burners. It's too easy to listen to the Star Wars Time Show. So just do it. And if you're sitting there going, Matt, I already listen. I'm already subscribed. Guess what? That's not good enough. Create fake accounts. Subscribe with them. Tell your friends. Tell your little kids. Tell your dying grandparents. We need more fans on the platforms. We'll read your comments, whatever we got to do. Please drop the ratings. Drop the reviews. If you're on YouTube, click on the thumbs up, have a comment, sub, notifications. It is huge for the Star Wars Time Show movement, right? No money required. No money required yet. And besides, there's always time for Star Wars time, so don't give me any of your shit. There is always time for this shit show that we call the Star Wars Time Show. And don't forget, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.